It's been a while since I've done an episode for Random Conversations. This is going to be a heavy conversation and a must have conversation for many reasons. The primary is for it to be documented that my voice was also heard. I added and did what I can in the capacity that I can during this time in our era to be a voice that supports human rights. My voice was added to the thousands and millions during the lockdowns, during the COVID, um, and on many other issues that I have added my voice to. So it is documented when politicians or even religious leaders say they're speaking on behalf of such and such and such, and I say, you're not speaking on behalf of me. No different than critical race theories or diversity workshops where you'll have speakers saying they're speaking on behalf of the black community or asking someone from another race, so you're speaking on behalf of, and hypocritical in both the statement and even the posturing, as they themselves are posturing as if they are speaking on behalf of the entire population, and they're not. So I've added my voice to many conversations that are out there to have it documented what my voice is saying on certain subjects. And this is no different than what's happening right now. Always grew up hearing, peace in the Middle East, peace in the Middle East. And again, based on your environment, and if you were surrounded by adults who were searching objective truth and sourcing objective truth, or they were just repeating what they trusted to be objective truth. For me, it was always that the Middle East is in conflict because of the Jews and the Muslims, and it was always crafted as a religious war, right? And then the story was that it's Israel's land and it's a Jewish land, and then the Muslim, it's just, and then in a Christian context, when you go to churches and you hear pastors from different theologies, but they're all in a position of authority for you to listen to, you're told to listen to them. It's biblical that you listen to them. Every structure that is around you tells you that you have to listen to them, obey them, respect them, and they've been learnt and they've been schooled, and they've gone to these higher levels of theology, education, and academics, so they know of what they speak about. And when they speak about the Middle East conflict and Israel, it's the Christians aligning with Israel, Christians for Israel, and the Muslim was always the bad guy. And then how they would depict the stories from the Bible and the stories, Pharisees, the Sadducees, the Hittites, and all these, it was the religious of the Jewish, faith that crucified, or it's the religious ones that did not like Jesus the Christ and the message, because he was coming into their pocketbooks and he was infiltrating to them, being a detriment to their business, as a result of their positions. People trusted them. So the tithing was also a business. It was employing accountants and tax collectors, collecting and counting the money and making sure you pay your tithes. It was also a business. And then you have the farmers who are selling the livestock for sacrificing. So, that would impede their business. If there is someone speaking about relationship directly to the Most High and not needing all these intermediates and intercessory and middle acts of communication and middle men of communication and women too at that time, and the psychics and this, everybody was the middle person. And here you have a messenger saying No, it was always relationship. And I shared this with a very close family member over the weekend and was breaking it down and just tying it in because that family member says that they're struggling with what's happening right now. Um, they're struggling. They're from the Christian faith. They're also, Christian has this big umbrella. You have Pentecostal, you have Seventh Day Adventist, you have Baptist, you have, the whole evangelical movement, and then you have the Catholics, and then, you have the Presbyterians, the Anglicans. There's like sects, all these sections. And then I just did a course, part of my BRE, my undergrad course in religious education. And one of the courses I just finished was Introduction to World Religion. And even being in that course, I could just tell the discord and the tone of it. And I know I can tell that the professor was tolerating me, because there's some remarks that he would say that I know it was, I just kind of shrug it off, calling me a sympathizer, or just words that, just shows, the supposed superiority of someone's intellect. And if you dare, being from, a Christian background, and you show the hypocrisy in Christianity and the hypocrisy in other religions, and how all religions have the hypocritical way of conducting their religion personally, and then how they display that publicly, and also how the theology within their religions don't coincide with how they treat each other, even within their religion, not just someone from outside. And when you point out the hypocrisies, and you, especially when you are showing the hypocrisies within Christendom, and you're going to a Christian institution, and because my university that I'm going to is a Christian university, so it's a private university. You are always felt like, you are, they're afraid of you. And then your classmates are also lockstep in that, because they're coming from, again, this Christian handed down way of thinking when you think about other religions. And when we talk about Muslims, what has been handed down. And I heard even in that class some statements of fact about the Muslim religion. I'm like, no, I'm like, have you spoken to, like, have you really researched the Muslim religion and attended or be a part of and really know it? Or are you just from the surface, or what you've been entrusted, or what you've trusted in listening to someone else? And I often have to correct within classes, and sometimes I stop because I know I'm now seen, especially when certain topics come out and it's dead silence, or you could tell that anticipation of, is she gonna say something? And then, it's like, and there's always that, one or two in the class that, feel like they gotta push back, and then I kind of just little nudge back. I don't push back, I little nudge back, and they kind of step back, because I'm like, I'm not going full out and being respectful. However, don't go there. Don't act like that. Don't do, like, if we're gonna have discourse, and let's be professional, but just don't be passive aggressive about it, or trying to be like, let's really put the mirror up in front of us before we point fingers at other people's religion, and look at our own. And to me, that is what I say to all religion institutions, to hold up the mirror and look within and fix within, right? So just coming out of that, and that was prior to what happened. And I did a post, I think it was October 2nd, on Twitter. I just was really impressed in my spirit just to make a post, and I did on Facebook, and I shared on Instagram. And it was just, after I did my meditations in the mornings, it was just heavily impressed on me. And that was October 2nd, I believe, I posted that. And I'll show you what that post is. But then things happened, and it was just, and immediately my post when all this was happening, I said, is it not ironic, just when the Muslim and the Christian faiths were coming together here in Canada, marching to push back against taking away parental rights, and the Christians and the conservatives up here, they loved it when the Muslims stepped in and did what, calling it the spade, they were ineffective of doing or unafraid to do because of all their biblical and sometimes societal interpretation of what it is to be a Christian, what it is to be a conservative. You're so nice and so passive, and you're like a doormat, and non-resistance and all of this. And even in the face of annihilation in 2020, Canadians couldn't even stop it. Why? Because and I made this statement even then. I'm on record. Enough of my videos and people saying, oh, I'm angry. And I'm like, no, you guys are in your own way. You Canadians, Anglo-Saxons, you're in your own way because you are moving to fight an enemy that you have no clue what you're fighting, because you're fighting it with an optics that is way over your head. Your enemy is way over your head, but your optics that you're seeing it, like you really think you knew how to fight this enemy. And it's like, no. And then you were more afraid of bringing in outsiders who are telling you what this enemy is that could have helped you. But you guys stuck to your own way. It's my way or the highway. Because also too, you wanted to control the narrative of who won this war for Canada. I mentioned that your biases, your own biases, your own prejudices, you're nurturing over the nature of being a human being, the nurturing of the optics of, the Superman complex, the knight in shining armor, riding in this idea of who is to be the savior of this, what it's supposed to look like, who it's supposed to look like, who wants to take credit for being the group that saved Canada as a result of this imagery of who is Canadian, what it is to look like Canadian, and the imagery of who is a Canadian. So you guys have so many biases that we're fighting against in you internally. You could not even see who your allies were. And then those who are your enemy, you embrace them, and you couldn't even see the content of their character was counterproductive to this supposedly fighting for your freedom. But you were not judging content. You were judging appearance. And based on your prejudiced appearance of what a freedom fighter looks like, and who a warrior looks like, and who a Canadian looks like, and who is going to be the one who's more educated in fighting this. And you guys run after every idol that was placed in front of you as this is the person, this is the group, this is the platform. And you run after everything. Yes, try it. And after a while you realize it's not working, find something else, but you refuse to. Notice of liabilities. People are making money off of you signing these cease and desist and notice of liabilities and all that. And you can't see how they're making cash off of you. And this goalpost keeps moving and you're not winning, but you keep listening to them. And they intentionally sabotaged ideas. They sabotaged strategies that would have ended this by the end of 2020. This could have been ended. And it would have been a stepping stone in teaching you how to choose an ally and how to identify someone who is being controlled by themselves, by their ego, or by your enemy. Again, you'd be able to know who is being programmed and who is being controlled by their own ego, by their self of who they think they are and their capabilities, the overestimating of their capability and it's their way, who is being controlled by your enemy, who is being controlled by media propaganda, and again, in their own way of thinking. There's a way that seemeth right to a man, but it's completely wrong. And this goes into the religious context too. Many of you listen to your religious leaders who signed on the dotted line behind your back to push a narrative to get grant money to keep their churches open and to keep money coming in, because your tithing wasn't happening because you were laid off because of lockdown and they need money to come in. So they signed on a dotted line to get government grants, but they had to push a narrative. Many of you ran to your community resource centers that are culturally appropriate in your community, and they're pushing a narrative, but they signed on a dotted line too to get a grant money to keep their not-for-profit doors open. They got money coming in to push a narrative. You have your MPs and the MPPs who signed on a dotted line too. They all sold you out. And it would have been easy for you to identify who is here to give you objective truth and who isn't, if you allowed yourself to take the beam out of your eyes and truly live what you're saying when you want to talk about judging a book by its content and not by its cover. So this is why now we're into 2023 and Justin Trudeau and everything else is still rolling forward. The sexual, oriental, gender identity still moving forward. Critical race theory still going forward. Diversity, inclusion, and equity. I call it DIE, D-I-E. That's what I call it. Because it's killing your spirit, killing your soul, killing the fabric of what it is to be Canadian. And then the hypocrisy of the same platforms, alternative medias that was pushing that they are the champion of truth. And now we have the conflict in the Middle East, and these same platforms now are being exactly who they said they were fighting against. They're pushing a one narrative, and they're calling people who are waving the Palestinian flag terrorists, no different than when they were calling people who are waving the Canadian flag insurrectionists. You have alternative news medias who rose to fame during the lockdown, Telegram groups, Telegram app, all these different, everybody rose to fame, popularity, their stocks got higher, the investments got higher. For some people, they start to get recognized. Some people walked off their jobs and started their own thing. And all of you are celebrated for being champions of truth and access to truth. And now you turn around and do the same thing to the Palestinians and saying if they support the freedom of their people, they're their Hamas supporters. And so I'm going to show you, for those that are listening, you can go over on the podcast YouTube channel. You see the visuals that I am going to now be showing. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Oh, no, I'm not on Instagram. Am I on? I can't remember what I am. No, but I know for sure I'm on YouTube with this podcast platform. Personally, I am on Twitter and all of that. So you're going to see some of my posts that I'm making there, and just making this podcast to reflect, to have more time to reflect, because I'm not paying Twitter any kind of money to have more time to type. So this podcast is to go over all of the different posts that I have done and my chain of thought that I'm sure many of you are also thinking. Just the blatant hypocrisy of freedom fighters here in Canada who are now demonizing freedom fighters for Palestine. And if you fight for Palestinians' freedom, you are supporting terrorism. What the hell? What? Is that different than when the media was calling Canadians, if you were fighting for Canadians' freedom, that you were an insurrectionist, that you were a racist and misogynist? These same platforms who were speaking up against that. And you loved when the Muslims and the Sheiks and the people of African descent came on to show, see, we're not racist, look at all. You love it. You benefit from them, benefit from us. When it's apparently supporting your cause. No, we were fighting for all our freedoms. But again, because of your optics, you thought we're supporting your movement for your country. Get the hell out of here. We're supporting our movement for our country. But you still have this ownership on this land called Canada like it's yours. You do land recognition. Even that is a slap in the face. And my son and I, we talked about it. He goes, Mom, it feels so hypocritical. You're doing land acknowledgement, but your ass is still on their land. You are settlers, technically. When you do land recognition, you are admitting you're settlers. You're acknowledging the land, but you ain't going nowhere. The people who you're acknowledging that you are on their land, they're not benefiting from. Listen, you guys are walking virtue signaling hypocrites on all sides of this. Now, when it's time for you to stand with the Palestinian people to fight for their freedom, where are you? Instead, you're on Twitter, on everything else, calling them Hamas supporters. How dare you? Disgusting, ungrateful set of people. Equating the Palestinian flag to Hamas? Really? Show me how they're the goddamn same. I am so pissed right now. Show me how they're the same. Then you have people on a megaphone at a pro-Palestine saying something, and now, remember when Chris Sky had a goddamn megaphone and saying all manner of nonsense? Did you lambast everybody that went there? Some of you alternative media who were interviewing him and you were seeing him as a champion until he turned on you, and then all of a sudden you're not friends anymore. But you guys loved him. He was your champion. Stand for Thee, Jane Scarf, all of these guys. All of these Canadian platforms, you guys run with them. They were saying all manner of stuff on their megaphone. But you stand firm that they're not racist. They were not insurrectionists. They were not supporting terror. No, they were speaking for the freedom of Canadians. You had the ability to separate waving the Canadian flag than supporting Justin Trudeau, the government. For those that did the argument, well, the Palestinian people, they need to get rid of their government. Are you stupid right now? Like, honestly, Justin Trudeau is still here. What happened to you getting rid of Justin Trudeau? 2, 3 times, what happened to you getting rid of the Liberal government, period? Forget about Justin Trudeau. They're still relevant. The NDP and Jagmeet Singh, they're still relevant. They're still here. Is anybody telling you when you wave the Canadian flag that you're supporting Justin Trudeau? Is anybody telling you that? Could anybody have said that? No, you were actually waving the Canadian flag against what he was doing. You were waving the Canadian flag for the freedom of the people. You had people waving the flag for many different things. It was not one issue or one reason why people are just waving the flag like bring back freedom for us. We don't care who is in power. You had so many people waving the flag for different reasons. But apparently, Palestinian people who are seeing and hearing the lives of innocent civilians killed, which is against international policy, procedures, protocol for war. They're seeing that you guys don't give a... And when they are saying, we're standing for our people, can you stop it? Oh no, they're supporting Hamas. Really? Interesting. So then all of these truckers were supporting Justin Trudeau then. So they're what? They're bipolar. The convoy right now is on trial. You guys did all these inquiries and spend all this money and have people donating for all this stuff, taxpayers' money going for this and donation for public-private inquiry and all that. I see a whole heap of Canadian flags that was waving all over the place. A whole heap. Lots. And not one of you were saying you're supporting the ruling government. And somehow finding a way to put the Hamas name into these protests. So you find one lunatic with some gun earrings and she was talking about it, and all of a sudden she represents everybody. You don't like that. You don't like that when it's done to you. Where you find one person, just like when they found one swastika flag or one something flag and they want to paint the whole movement like that. You find one person that says something, you want to paint the whole movement. You guys push back against it and said that was wrong and all that stuff. But apparently when it's somebody, the othering, you see this othering that you guys do with people is disgusting. And then to see posts to justify children dying, the use of white phosphorus, which is a war crime, the bombing of civilian buildings. I don't care if you think somebody's in it. Send, well, you don't have trained people that America has equipped you and trained you with? God damn it, they could go in and take out Osama and all these people. You can't go in and take out. You have them in prison and caged for all these years, and you have them highly surveillance. I was on a podcast listening where they talk about exactly how well surveillance is. That's why they want to know, how did Israel allow this to happen? They're talking about these drones and stuff that's in the sky that map it out inch by, like, you can't move on Gaza without them not knowing. Like, they were breaking it down yesterday, and I was just like, experts are saying this is why they're like, was it an inside job? Did Israel intentionally ignore the warnings, the signs? They had their own intel, people telling them something's happening, plus their own intel of what they collect daily, hourly. They want to know, how did these people travel and go through all that and not be detected? So there's so much hypothesis of how did this happen. At the end of the day, what does babies and civilians who have no choice but to be where they are because you have displaced them have to do with you wanting to get rid of these insurgents or militants? What does it have? And then in the podcast, I heard that this Hamas government is different than the Hamas militant. I'm in this, and I'm just a regular old person who is looking for goddamn truth. You're gonna tell me Canadian intelligence, American intelligence don't have access to deeper truth and deeper information than what I have just been able to uncover in less than freaking 3 days of saying, okay, what is this about? Because my heart is hurting for what I'm seeing. I'm crying as a mother. I'm like, what is going on? And what I've been able to gather, you're gonna tell me all of American and all of Canadian intelligence don't know this? And then you have Canadian residents who've gone through 3 years of media propaganda telling you who to believe, what to believe when it was COVID, and you learned absolutely nothing. You learned absolutely nothing in how to hold your tongue, be quiet, go research, look at both sides before you open up your mouth and run behind a narrative. You didn't learn nothing. You learned absolutely nothing. And then I saw a freedom fighter who had the audacity to make a post to spread his post. Him and Maxime Bernier and the premier of one of these other provinces is doing a court challenge against the COVID this and long letter and want support for that again. So now I just realized it's about your freedom. It's about your inability to move and go travel and go to all your places. You didn't give a damn about the rest of Canadians, because I'm looking, and it's not the first time I've seen his post. That just made me realize you're selfish. You're selfish. You're so selfish. I'm like, this is about you. You're one like many that I came across in this freedom movement, influencers that have following, and it's about you. It's about your freedom, your access, what your children weren't allowed to. You didn't give a rat's ass about anybody else. This was about you. It wasn't about us. It wasn't about we. And many Canadian freedom fighters and platforms, I uncovered, I disclosed, and many of you got upset. And then you listen to the idiots tell you, oh, she's probably an insider. Oh, she's probably a control opposition. Oh, and like they love to throw that out. And because you're so ignorant, meaning not knowing on how to go and assess and find out who is an agent, you just run with these people because of their titles. Anybody that disagrees with them and anybody that exposes them, they label as control and agent, and you run. And you never sit down and just shut your mouth, hold your corner, and just analyze and say, hold on a minute. Let me make my decision on this. This was all about them. It was never about Canadians. They wanted you to come along with their agenda, their platform, raise their platform. So after it's over, they have now an email list. They have now a group where now they can launch something else. You have nurses that created platforms, but they have a 10-year plan. They're doing something else with all of your with all of your efforts and all of that. This whole thing, listen, the thing I discovered and I found out with all of them that DMing me and giving me stuff, inboxing me and telling me who not to trust, and then I see them doing the same shit, and then when I say, okay, this is how we can end this, nobody run with it, where we're working together, we're bringing all the experts from different areas on how we can end this, and then I am hearing, oh, you know what, no, I'm not, because I have a 10-year plan, I have a 5-year, and I'm like, how are you making a 5 and 10-year plan on our freedom for you to create a business that's supposed to be fighting our freedom? So you have a 10-year plan on how long this shit's gonna last. So this is why you don't want this to end right now. You don't want us to be free for Christmas, because you have come up with a 10-year business plan or 5-year business plan on how you can monetize and how you can build your brand based on your following from being a freedom fighter. Got it. It had nothing to do with me and my children. Freedom tomorrow. It had nothing to do with it. Fast forward, you guys are rinsing, repeating it now to the Palestinians, the Muslim community, who you guys, I tell you guys, are so ungrateful, and it shows historically. When I look at some content, I'm going to show it to you, about the people who are always getting the short end of the stick. People of African descent. And I told you guys, when you want to call me black, I said, don't call me black, because technically black was a commercial term, not for skin color, but for region. Don't call me, Lord Jesus. I said, don't call me black, because black was created as a construct to identify a group of people who were subhuman for trade, and trading them because they were livestock and they had no human rights. So you put a color, you put an adjective to things, right? So when you think something, it's now an object. And white was a construct for commerce to identify the regions that you can trade with. It had nothing to do with the color of your skin. And the original definition of white was the original, highlight the word, original people of North Africa, Europe, and the Middle East. The Middle East is the Muslims. You guys call them the Arabs. Beautiful, different skin color and hues because of where they are located next to the equator, and Capricorn and Cancer. And North Africa, same thing. Many shades, dark skin. Europe too, olive skin and dark olive, not like the non-melanin, I need some sun olive. I'm talking about beautiful tan, different shades and hues. People of color and melanin. North Africa, Europe, and the Middle East, that was the original definition of the word white for commercial purposes, for commerce. So when they're now identifying what region where you're from, and they had different classification for the region, it had nothing to do with your skin color. And you know, white is clear, white is good. There's no blemishes, there's no issue. So you want to trade with white, the people of the white region. It had nothing to do with your skin color of inferiority or superiority or any. It was about the region that was clear, good, let's do trade with. There's no blemish. They're good people of good character, of good integrity. And then a demon energy want to now qualify it for people. And they brought in black. And they gave people black, and they took white for themselves, because they want to establish themselves as the proper people to trade with. And there's an energy that does not like to live with other people. Have you noticed that historically there's an energy that they just don't know how to live with people? They create conflict wherever it goes. There's an energy that does just not know how to cohabit, how to live with people, how to be peaceful. It's just a contemporary, divisive conflict energy. It can't stay peaceful for too long. You find that energy in people. That's why some of you are divorced. The person just don't know how to be in peace. Like everything will be going good. They have everything that they say they want, but for some reason they start going out there and creating conflict and drama. They just don't know how to live in peace. They don't know how to live clean and honorable. So they have to go and stir up drama because that's what that's what they're used to. That's what they have to live in. They have to live in a conflict state. They don't know no better. They're from a DNA energy of energies that just live in drama. They love conflict. They love the lowness, the disgusting low vibes. There's just an energy that is with us that we have to get better at identifying it in people's character. People who just love drama. They don't like to live or work in a place that's ethical, that's moral, that's equal, that's fair, that's positive, that's just a breath of fresh air. They don't like that. They like the conflict. They like the hierarchy. They like to put people down. They like the manipulation. They like the lying, the cheating, the conniving, the cutthroatness, the ill. Like there's just energies that just love that. They're attracted to the energy that is pure, positive, and nice, and what it brings them. They like the benefit of that energy because that energy brings life. It brings abundance. It's the land of milk and honey. It gives them children. It gives them lifestyle. And as soon as they get in there, they just don't know how to live in peace. They create drama. And that's historically. So look for that energy in people, in tribe, in religion, in whatever. There's an energy that just does not know how to live in peace with people. And it's ungrateful. It shows no gratitude. It has no honor. It is without honor. It doesn't know what honor looks like if it comes right standing in their face. It does not know what honor looks like. It raises and elevates things that are dishonorable. It raises and elevates people that's dishonorable and say, look at this, look at that. This is what you attain. So they elevate that which is disgusting. And they trample and attack that which is good. It's easy to find those traits. Just look around you. And I'm seeing it right now. And my heart goes out to those people that's always on the short end of the stick. Those people that are from that energy that's always welcoming, that always think about others, always sacrificing themselves for others, always putting themselves last for others, always seeing the best in people, giving people the benefit of the doubt. They always get the one labeled as the aggressor when they decide to stand up. When they decide to have a line, they're the aggressor. They're the one that say, oh, you know, you don't fit in, or oh, you're not this, you're not that, or you're not good enough, or you know, you're the problem. It's like, no. You are the problem. Don't try to convince that, no. The only problem is that who I am and who these people are cannot fit into your disgustingness. So the problem right here is not about them. It's about you. But that will require mirror work. And those that are dark and low in energy don't want to look themselves in the mirror because they're like vampires. They can't even see themselves when they look in the mirror. That's an analogy right there. They can't even see their real self when they look in the mirror because they're like vampires. And that is an analogy all in itself. So my heart goes out to those people who are always the ones sacrificing themselves for others, always giving the benefit of the doubt for others, always accommodating others, always going out of their way for others, always wanting to share for others, always being able to put themselves in other people's shoes and say, okay, how can I help? Always looking out for the best interests of others. When they're making a decision, personal business, they look to see how they could be a blessing, how they can help somebody else. And they're the one that's always ending up with the short end of the stick. My heart goes out to those type of people. And if you look through history, there's a pattern as to the people who welcome settlers, welcome people in, give people the opportunity to come in. Look through history. The tribes, the nations, the people who are open and welcome strangers, foreigners, aliens, foreign from their indigenous land, welcome these people in. Let's look at the pattern. And they come in and they now want to take, overtake, dominate, rule, and then oppress the same people that welcome them. They take from them, they take from their land. Vampires. If you look, I tell you, it's an energy that I'm seeing, it's a pattern here. And then they deem themselves as the victim. When the rightful owners of who was there first decide to fight back, now they're the savages. They're the human animals. They're the attackers. And then they find their friends. They said the friend of my enemy is my friend. So they find friends that are like them to now help them fight the rightful owners. You find that in the workplace too. You're being ganged up. So they go and they find other people that don't like you, who are also immoral, unethical, bad leadership. And then they come together to try to find a way to get rid of you, to make you look like the problem. So they look for allies who are aligned, the word allies, who are aligned with the same type of energy. There's a pattern here, ladies and gentlemen. And when you think the fight is just for you, forget that you have children and children's children. And someone made an analogy. You always find the ones that want to kill off children and kill off civilians are the ones who are apparently at the low birth rate, who are concerned that their lineage is going to be no longer around. So they create wars, genocide society, kill off populations under this guise of health and wellness, war. All of these reasons, and at the end of the day, they're killing off children and they're targeting areas where the population of the indigenous, those who are the original owners of the land, their birth rate is exploding, while the settlers, the oppressors, the visitors, the aliens, however you want to call them, their birth rate is not exploding. So they find a way to level the playing field by leveling cities, saying you want to make a soccer field or you want to just level the playing field. So you level cities, killing children, and like generations are being wiped out because you can't breed as quickly as the original and the indigenous people of the land. You do not believe in God. I could tell you that. You are anti-religion. You are anti-God. You are anti-Christ. You're anti-Allah. You're anti-any... Because you know how I know you're anti? You are acting contradictory to all of the principles that you say you're holding that is godly. You're a liar. You're a bold-faced liar. Bold-faced liar. I believe you're threatened by those who are honoring their religion principles while you're walking around dishonoring it. You are afraid, you are scared, you're intimidated because you do see the hand of the Most High blessing them. Despite everything you've thrown at the people of the continent of Africa, the people of the Americas, the original people of the Americas, the original people of North Africa, of all the Africas that then spread out, the original people of the Middle East and Europe, the original people of Australia. You see the hand of the most, with everything you've thrown at these indigenous people to wipe them out, you just can't get rid of them. There's something there, isn't there? And then you have people like Bill Gates who have come up with the God gene. And he did his own presentation that the American military was very interested in how to get rid of the God gene. Apparently, he's discovered scientific evidence that consciousness, spiritual consciousness, this God concept is connected to a gene that gives people this consciousness of right and wrong, this moral compass. And if you can get rid of that gene, there's no moral compass. It's now society telling them what is moral and what's not. It's no longer an innate, an inert, a DNA reaction to disgustingness. It's now society teaching them. And then you have Canadians who are walking around thinking they're so educated. They laugh after people who do research. And all you need to know is how to read and write and how to use a dictionary. And you could, when you spend all this high price in universities, what do you think you do? You read a goddamn book. Your professor gives you some lectures. They talk. You better know how to understand English because they're just lecturing, showing you PowerPoint slides. Then you have to go do your own research, give you some definitions, teach you what the definitions are. That's it. So stop thinking that you're so special because, listen, if you have someone who's dedicated to a truth and dedicated to a topic, they can self-learn. They just need to figure out the book list and they could self-learn. Like, don't get it twisted about all these high fluent and stop it. Long as you know how to read and write and know how to use a dictionary, you can find the truth. And you could be just as qualified as these intellectuals. Because you can teach yourself how to do a thesis, teach yourself how to debate, teach yourself definitions. If you are naturally inclined to science, math, history, whatever, put yourself into that lane. Things come natural to you, and to me, research and certain things are just natural to me. That's why, see, people like, you know what, you give it to Oprah, she'll figure it out. Certain things you give me, like, just give me, bam, I'm good. I ask the Most High, how am I being connected to certain people, or just things just happen organically? Some people are gifted in certain lanes. Just run with it, and you see how the Most High open doors for you. At the end of the day, you go and do a degree, you're getting a book list, a professor lectures you, and you still have to teach yourself. You still have to figure it out. Because after being in a lecture for 4 hours, sometimes you're even more confused. You have a headache. You got to listen to the recording over again. Like, just stop it. So when people tell you, oh, you're an expert, are you this? Tell them just go take a hike. Don't let people's faces, and the scripture tells you that, do not be intimidated by their faces, by their teeth, their grins. Don't be intimidated by the way they look. Trust and believe. Because from dust they came and dust they shall return, just like you. Okay, so if you're on Twitter, follow me over there. IG, so now I'm showing some feeds. If you're on IG and stuff, I'm just Facebook, just showing you what's been happening over on Twitter. And someone from that podcast group that I had yesterday said that the reason why they're losing the media war because Twitter, as much as you guys love Elon Musk, you have to thank the Most High for everything. Elon came at the right time. And if you did research on Elon's past and who his family is and who his mother and his father was, let me tell you, a lot of you wasted time during the lockdown. I told you guys it was a blessing in disguise for those who see the blessing. Man, those 2 years, the amount of research I was able to do. You look at who Elon has ties to Canada because of who his father was politically. And he has ties to South Africa as well. The apartheid movement and the fighting, and like, he comes from a stock. And I strongly believe the Most High speaks to people. There's times, and so now I have a voice recorder. Like, I'll wake up in the middle of the night with ideas, thoughts. I'll have dreams, I'll have visions. I'm just record it. And you're just being led, and people think, oh, it's spooky. No, it's spooky because you are low vibration. So it'll be over your head. You wouldn't get it. But there are people who are born from a DNA line, and I know who my DNA line is from my mother and father's side. Like this is not no ancestry.com nonsense. I said it before. We are living in the same era of the descendants of the Goliaths, the descendants of crucify him, the descendants of the sellouts. That we are living with those same descendants. It's the same energies. We are the great grandchildren of the ones who stood. So there's a DNA that comes through us. And no matter how the world tried to take it out of us, it says train up a child in the way that they should grow, so when they come of age, they don't depart. The DNA is so strong. The DNA, man. When you come from good stock of honor, morality, that is DNA. And Bill Gates and those guys know that. They can't clone it. As much as they try to take it out and put it somewhere else, it's just not going to work. There's a short circuit, and they're trying to figure out what it is. You can extract all you want from people's tissues and donating their organs, bloods, finding inhumane and illegal way of getting people's DNA and thinking that you could somehow, it's not going to work because you're missing something. Listen. All of this mutilation now that they're doing to children at a young age, the reason why they're attacking the children. I need the adults to wake up. They're attacking the children by bombing them, by putting ideas in their head to mutilate them, putting ideas in their head to go and be experimented on experimental, not even vaccine, but experimental wise, because it's not fully a vaccination, because it has not gone through the medical process of it. They're attacking the children, and then they attack them with ideologies, reverse racism, where they hate their own kind, they don't even want to identify as, and all of. They're attacking the children because there is a DNA that is connected. And if you, the idiot, don't even research who you're connected to, you are now running with these social constructs, and you're cutting off what you were blessed with because of your ignorance, because you're not nurturing what you were blessed with. You're not seeing it as an asset because the world tell you it's a liability. I have 4 children, on only one out of 4. You know, they talk about the ratio, 1 out of 4 this, 1 out of 4 that, 1 out of 4 is the reason why they say 4. And only one has been able to stand through all of what the world has been in to throw at them, to make them think that who they are and how they were trained, and the bar I have in this house is wrong. Only one has able to withstand that narrative and says, no, it's right. We're good. Takes full responsibility of errors. Doesn't blame and find takes full responsibility. He knows mommy comes passionately with love and support and fun times. Go the extra mile to give you a fun vacation, trip, event, spoil you, get you tutors, private schools, whatever we need. And that same energy that deserves, that designs and desires and does all of that to give you the best, is the same goddamn passion will come at you when you do something stupid. When you go and hurt somebody, when you're moving and operating below what I know the standard is, oh, it's the same energy. And that's the same character with God. People saying God is love, God is love. Yeah, God is love, and God is also wrath. You stay there and think God is one-sided. Think the Most High is one-sided. The Most High is justice, and the Most High is judgment to bring justice. The Most High is gracious and merciful and long-suffering. Oh yeah. And the Most High has a line in the sand to say, okay, we've gone too far. We're good. The Most High will be telling the angels, hold the pen. Don't write nothing yet. Let's give him and her some time to see if they're going to collect themselves, catch themselves, and go back on the right path. Don't write nothing yet. Just hold on. And then the Most High is the same one will tell the angel, okay, right now. Write their end date now. Record what they did now. It's the same Most High, eh? You guys want to see it at one-sided because the world lies to you and don't let you see the two sides to everything. And this is why you should be open to know that there's two sides to every person. Two sides. As a mother, listen, you can't get a more devoted mother than me. You mothers out there, everybody, you hold up your medals. Hold up your trophies. I'm going to hold on mine. You cannot get a more dedicated, unselfless, loving, supportive, protective, providing mother. Loving, caring, all of those. Let me tell you, spiritual, discerned, strong, vulnerable, have 3-4 eyes when it comes. I'm seeing 360 degrees sometimes. It's not even more than that. You can't get that nowhere here. You can't get that nowhere else but here. I give myself my trophy. You goddamn right. You can't find a better friend than me. You can't find a better daughter, a better sister than me. You can't find a better wife than me. You can't find a better business partner or employee than me. You can't find a better coach, because when you know what you possess, it is. And on the flip side of that, for that to be that way, you know that, listen, I set a bar. I set a bar. And the bar I set has been DNA handed down. We don't joke with certain things. My energy don't joke. From a little girl, I used to get headaches. I get headaches when I'm around energies that is just cantankerous and just disgusting. My mother would tell me stories. When I was a baby, she would have to walk around with a handkerchief or a rag and wipe my face. When people come to, oh my, she's a cute baby, oh my. And my mom says, when you don't like somebody, you used to get, and my mom used to wipe my face and lie and say, oh, no, and make up stories why I'm acting the way I act. When people want to kiss me or pull my cheek, whatever. My mom said she realized at a young age, I was able to discern people's energy, and I would not listen. I would act a certain way. So as soon as the person touched or kissed me, my mom would wipe my face quickly in conversation with the person because she knows I'm about to. She'll see my actions, she'll be like, okay, yeah, that person's spirit, And she just like, she'll tell me the story. She said, girl, I could not walk out the house without a rag. From since a young age, you were able to detect energies, and you would bring the house down. You would act a certain way with certain energies. I grew up just having headaches when I'm around certain things. I'm able to spot and see things miles away. Catch people, read you. I already got you. It's like, yeah, other people figure you out later. And I'm like, and then there's the other side that says, don't judge, give people the benefit of the doubt. And then when things happen, I'm like, see, you should have listened. I'm like, yeah, I should have listened. But you know what? Give people the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they'll come around. Maybe this is why I don't last long in certain environments. People who stay years in something that's disgusting or something that is low energy, listen, after 1, 2, I'm done. I had an aide. My mother would tell you, if she gives you 2 chances, you are special. Because I was a one and done. You get 1 chance with me. Whereas my sibling, man, forgive. My mom will always say, you and your different. With her, you get one shot. She gives you the benefit of the doubt. She allows you to show you who she is, but as soon as she's done. And when she cuts, she cuts. And as you get old, you're like, okay. And then I'm like, no, I'm good. 2 chance, that's it. You get 2. You get 2. And I say, Most High, you haven't dealt with me that's wrong, so I'm gonna go with that. So many people later on in life is like, oh, how come you didn't act this way? How come you give that person chances and went with me? I'm like, because, dude, I was young and I had no patience and no tolerance for the foolishness. But you can't be upset that I didn't give you. How about you don't require people to give you chances? How about you just come correct in the first place? When you come and you meet someone who is honest, integral, ethical, and they show you that from the beginning, why you think they must accept your low vibes and your nonsense? Why? Why is it up to them to adjust for you? How come you can't adjust? So don't be like, oh, how come this person gets second chance? And I'm like, dude. And then the second chance person get upset that they don't get 3 and 4 chances. I'm like, what the? You guys are privileged. You people of you energies of low vibration, you're privileged. You know why? Because you have so many people out there that give you all these goddamn chances that you've never taken advantage of. You come to expect that everybody needs to give you unconditional chances. And when you come up with someone like me that I don't have that bandwidth. You're like, oh, they're harsh. They're controlling. Yeah, I damn well control my environment. You got that right. Give me my trophy for that. I control if I am willing to participate in your low vibration. I control that decision. I can't control you, but I control me. I can control what I allow. You got that right. Give me my medal. And keep on moving to find that person that's allowing you to live on a low vibration and celebrating you there. You found your soulmate, or you found your great business partner, or you found your best friend. You found that person. Good for you. So at the end of the day, we have a generation that is born with a DNA from the ancestors of those who stood. It's good. It's always that is the war of this land called human on earth. It's just generations that are recycling the same battles. So celebrate that you are part of that lineage and that generation that stands for honor. And for you who are on the other side, you might want to do a sabbatical. You might want to identify that, yeah, you are from the lineage that love chaos, that love conflict, that is hypocritical, that's ungrateful, that's selfish, that's deceitful, that's self-centered, that's Lord Jesus, I just lost the word. Opportunistic. Thank you. You're from that DNA. You're from that line. No shame, no blame, accept and move forward to a different timeline, to a different version of yourself. You want to stay on that timeline to be a repetitive clone of the previous ancestors, to be like that. If that's the timeline you want to stay on, then great, but don't get upset at those that say I don't want to participate in that. You can become a better version. It first starts with acceptance. As a life coach, that's all I do. I am not one to waste people's time or people's money. I had this conversation with someone I said, listen, you have life coaches that will make you do all these sessions because they want to milk money from you. I don't want to be around you longer than you want to be around me because I want to save you money. However, if I find a person that decides that they don't want to do the work and get out of their funk sooner, okay, fine. We'll stretch this out. No love lost for me. It's your money. However, I desire for you to save your money and get to the better version of you quicker, faster, sooner, more effective, and let's move on to the next person. I'm on a mission. I'm on a campaign of healing lives, I'm on a campaign of healing lives one at a time. I'm on a campaign of having people see who they are. No shame, no blame. It is what it is. Accept it. Let's go. Are you happy with it? No. You want to change it? Great. You're happy with it? You want to make excuses? I'm not your coach. There's a lot of people out that will take your money. There's a lot. They will love you because they have a lot of session packages for you. I'm an intuitive coach. I'm a mirror work coach. I'm doing my Reiki master right now, finishing in a couple months. I'm a healing hands coach. I'm also finishing up my undergrad for religious education. I've done my certification through Cornell for plant-based nutritional certification for the physical part of health and wellness. I have a lot of certification under my belt. I'm a licensed and certified Heal Your Life coach through Louise Hay's principles. I've worked with Lisa Nichols for motivating the teen spirit and motivating the masses. I've had her as a one-on-one coach, and I've gone through many different of her programs. Like I know what I am, and that's just in that realm. On the corporate realm, I got my receipts. It's not to brag or boast, it's just to let you know, don't judge people because you think of what they don't. That's where you guys go wrong. That's why I allow people to show me who they are. I hear people. I say, thank you for letting me know about that. I don't dismiss any heads up. Hey, I just want to let you know about, okay, great. I thank you, but I don't judge nobody with what somebody else said, because you know what? Maybe you did deserve the person showing up and being who they were to you at that time. Maybe you deserve it because you tell me the one side of who they are. Did you let me know how you showed up? Because I know me, people get different sides of me. And it all depends on what you show up. You will get one side, you show up one way, you get another side, you show up one way. So because I know that of me, and because I know that of the Most High is double-sided. When people tell me about people, I say, thank you. Thank you for telling me that. I'll take that into consideration. I'll file it away. However, that's not going to make me make a decision. I'm allowed a person to show me who they are. I'm not even going to let them know that I heard X. I'm just going to allow them to show me who they are. And as soon as I see the triggers, as soon as I see the red flags, I'm like, oop, I'm good. I'm out. You got your chance. You messed up. I'm out. And if I give you a second chance, trust and believe. Work with it. So I'm on a mission. And I'm here to allow humanity to become a better version of itself. There's many of me out there. It's not me as some messiah. No, because I know a lot of you read, see, narcissism. Not because you guys are running with, listen, many of you out there, you look for things because of what society tells you, because society wants to block you from your own blessing. There's many of me out there, and we're all on our mission to help society become a better version of itself, for you to get to be able to see the content of character starting with yours, so you can be quicker, faster in identifying it in others. And we're in a war for our children. This is not about just you, freedom fighter, for you and yours, and you don't give a damn about anybody else. Because trust me, if you have not figured out we're all connected, what happens in Bangladesh affects what happened in Sudan, affects what happens in Toronto, affects what happens in Detroit, affects what happens in Melbourne, affects what happens in Lebanon, in Syria, affects what happens in Israel, affects what happens in Chicago, affects what happens in Greenland, affects what happens in Scotland, in Ireland, affects what happens in Germany, affects what happens in Russia. If you haven't figured out we're all connected, it affects what happens in Barbados, St. Vincent. If St. Lucia, if you don't see that we're all connected, I don't know what it's going to take for you to see that. So this cannot be a my fight for my rights and my family, to hell with everybody else. Because that's where we are right now, where one side decided that it is only for them and their children to have a quality of life, flaunt it in the face of the other person on the other side of the cage that you created for them. Allow their children, allow their family to see you and your children on the other side living up life, having freedom, having parties and all, and they're watching through the cage the life that they once had before they opened up and allowed you in. And you're there flaunting it in their face. And you don't expect nothing? You think that you've killed their human spirit so much that it's going to watch and just hang their head low? You think that you won by destroying their sense of self, their sense of worth, their sense of determination? You think that you actually flattened their God-given human right of self-determination? You think you successfully flattened that? And because it didn't react for a while, you think you succeeded. They always say, be quiet, be very careful of the ones who are quiet when you know they should not be. That's why in divorces, you have the one side that is walking around paranoid. Because they know they've done some dirt and they don't see the other person reacting the way they are expecting. And they're like, okay, when's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? And they just parrot everything. So even if the person's gone on living the life, everything the person does, the other partner is paranoid. Because they're like, why'd you do that? Why are you so nice? Why are you accommodating? Why are you there? Why you want to invite me to the party? Why you want to have me to the birthday party? Why are you inviting me to the after school? Why you want me to get involved? Why you want me to come over and pick up the kids? Is it like they're just paranoid? It's like, dude, relax, I'm done. Let's just co-parent. They walk around paranoid because they are expecting something to happen because they know they deserve it. Why? Because if it was them, they know what they would do. So they expect everybody to behave like them. Why? Because they believe everybody is low and dirty like them. No, there's some people that just know that there's a God. There's some people that know that Most High will take care of you and take care of everything, and they're just going to keep their hands clean and their heart clean. You have people who live in paranoia because they know they deserve retaliation. They know they deserve revenge. So when the person's quiet, they're just like, hold on. And they are right sometimes that the person's just waiting to buy their time. They're just waiting to buy their time. And there's some people you don't need to wait. They actually have gotten over it. Depends on the degree of the pain inflicted and that person's DNA. There's some people DNA, not because they don't lash back, means that they're not expecting a result of being rewarded or being vindicated. They know it might come a different way. And there's some that will take it into their own hands. And neither one is wrong and neither one is right. If you cause harmage and you cause damage and you cause hurt and pain, it is not up to you to decide which version is right and wrong for you. You like the version of just let it go because it benefits you. You don't like the version of let it go and come back at you. Because now, oh my God, it's been 10, 12, 13 years. You didn't let it go? No. It's been 12, 13 years of just allowing things to play out. Did you use that 10, 12 years to heal the person's hurt? Did you acknowledge for the past 10, 12 years what you've done so that you can do the repair so the person can actually let it go? Or did you just do your dirty, walk away and expect the person to let it go? What did you do in the 10 and 12 years that qualifies you to deserve the person to let it go? Just asking. I'm a straight up coach when I talk to people that want to come and blame and blame. Like, no, let's work on you. Let's not work on the other person. Let's work on you. And how dare you expect, if that was you, what would you do? How would you feel? Nobody can give you the right, or nobody can tell you you don't have the right to feel a certain way. You can't decide how that person's going to react. However, you do have control of it. Because most hurt that's unresolved, that's not been repented of, that has not been acknowledged, that has not made the person feel qualified that, yes, I know I've done this and this hurt. That is what a lot of this revenge and hurt comes from, the other person not doing what they're supposed to do, which is to admit they're wrong. The scripture says, you know you've wronged a brother, go back and make it good with that brother. Repair that. Repay that. Whatever you need to do, reinstate that. Whatever you need to do your part. And then come to me and ask me for something. Then come and give me, the praise and the worship and the thank yous. But you can't come in with dirty hands and dirty heart. How is it dirty? How's my heart dirty, Lord? How's my hands dirty? Because there's blood on your hands, dude. You know how much tears, how many heartaches, how many lives you've broken on with your hand. Like, what are you talking about? Look in the mirror. You'll see. What do you mean my heart is dirty? Man, you know how many souls have been tied to your slick words and your promises and your contracts, and you broke them. And as a result of that, you broke so many other things that was attached to them. But you went on with your life not caring because your life is good, business or personal. Your heart is not clean. You're a person that's two-faced. You say one thing and you promise something else, and the promise is only as valid unless how you feel. You don't give a damn about oath. You don't give a damn about contracts. You don't give a damn about what's expectations. No, it's about whatever makes you feel good. And other persons have to deal with it. That's a dirty heart. Like, you can't come to me and think that you're cleaned. Your hands are dirty and your heart is dirty. Go clean up, man. Simple. Very simple. So there's a person here, as you can see, you read that. It does not equal the support. They're talking about the human rights of the people that's suffering. And they're asking people to care about the people who's suffering. Don't tell me an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, because if we're going to go with that equation, your eye for eye, they're not on the same playing field. And I could tell you, based on what I've researched, it's not the same. Because it's not an eye for an eye with you, it's an eye for a whole body. And one eye for 1,000 eye. Where you God now, where 1 day is 1,000 days in God's calendar, 1,000 days in God is one of yours? What are you now, God? Really? Because if we really go back to history and they want to repay you, a human life for a human life, but you want to take one human life for 1,000? So one of their life, one of your lives is equal to 1,000 of theirs. That shows you how much more valuable your people life is, where one of yours is 1,000 of theirs. Really interesting. Or are we back to the population ratio, that they have 1,000 more than you for every one of yours? Listen. I am a critical thinker, and I allow the Most High to show me. Allow the Most High to show me the hypocrisy in things. There's a beautiful speech by this. It's the type of politician I want to be. And I looked and I'm like, you know what? Do we have one of those? Can we create one of these parties? Beautiful speech that she did. And I followed her. I went on her page and I'm like, she's consistent. She's a consistent badass, man. She's consistent.
Behind yet another cute acronym, STEP, this proposal aims, among other things, to allocate yet another 1.5 billion euros of public money to the European Defence Fund, now totalling 10 billion. For years, the European Union has been militarising, all the while presenting itself as an actor for peace. And now, at a time where there's an unfolding and escalating crime against humanity in Gaza, we see this enabled by the reckless and potentially criminal actions and statements from EU leaders, and the world can see that our calls for peace are meaningless. What's happening in Gaza, the obsession with military solutions gets us. The indulgence of humanity's worst impulses and the broken bodies of children laid bare in mass graves. It's unacceptable that we have yet another proposal here to funnel billions into the pockets of the bloated bank accounts of the arms industry. This proposal should be axed.
And then here she's again. And then here she is again. She's very casual in her attire. She's not, no makeup, no, right? And this is her lashing out for an EU representative who went over and apparently says she speaks for the European Union. Hence why I said nobody speaks for me. I speak for myself. And she went after her like I'm like, who is this woman? But listen to what she has to say.
I've been involved in politics for 40 years, but I have never seen anything like what is being unleashed in Gaza, in full public view, while the world watches it unfold. 10 days of relentless airstrikes, 1 in 1,000 people murdered by the Israeli government in a week, open declarations of siege, 24 hours of fuel, electricity and water left, collective punishment on innocent people, all illegal, all war crimes. And when the EU should have been arguing for a ceasefire, for the upholding of international law, for the protection of civilians, Ursula von der Leyen touches down in Tel Aviv to photo op the preparation of a genocide and says Europe stands with Israel now and in the days to come. How dare she? She has no authority in foreign affairs matter. She does not speak for me. She does not speak for Ireland. And she does not speak for the citizens of Europe. We stand for peace. We stand for justice for the people of Palestine and for the upholding of international law. It's long past the time that this woman exited the stage. It's time for her to go and for the International Criminal Court
So the debate is closed.
So she asked for an international criminal code to be to investigate that woman. So when I clicked on her page, Claire Daly, as I said, she's an elected official. She's a member of the European Parliament, independent, and she's a socialist. So I'm wondering, when is Canada and Canadians going to break away from these political parties that does not serve the people? When I say that, I look through COVID and I'm looking through what's happening right now, and we have no political party with grit to come out and say what needs to be said, because they're all accommodating all the differences inside. No, it's human rights, parental rights, body autonomy rights, workers' rights, and not just unionized workers' rights, all workers' rights. Like the fact that unionized staff has more rights than a non-unionized worker, that's a two-tier system right there. I'm sorry. It should be every worker in Ontario. I'm in Ontario. Every worker in Canada, but we can go province specific because that's how they've made the Canadian governmental system. Every worker in Ontario should have the same benefits, the same pay, the same, you're done. It doesn't matter if you're in a private sector, public sector, unionized sector. At the end of the day, we all got to go to the grocery store, and it's the same price at the grocery store. When we all want to buy a house in a certain area, in a certain location, it's the same price. We all want to buy a vehicle. We all want to go on a vacation. When you go and click for the plane ticket, when you go and click for the hotel reservation, they don't ask you, are you unionized, non-unionized? What's your income? What's this? How, what do you have to do for? Are you going to school? Do you have debts? No. It's the price. And it's your take-home pay that gives you that affordability. So yes, Pierre Polivier, when he says bring it home and bringing home a better take-home pay and all that, yes. However, my concern is I'm looking at major incidences that affect human rights in Canada, Canadians, and how long it takes for conservatives. I'm not even going to care about Liberals and NDP because they're a done deal for me. And for those Canadians and for those Canadians that are from the Muslim community, from religious faith community, I don't see how Liberals and NDP aligns. You know, the statement that killed consciousness of separating church from state, that created a thought pattern that your religious beliefs and who you say you are after your life is done, you believe in an afterlife, you believe that you're going to be judged by what you've done here, your content of character. For some reason, the Most High is going to say, well, it's okay for you to have behaved and believed and conducted yourself unethical in business. As long as when you come, for praise and worship, or when you go to mosque, when you go to church, like you were doing well. Like this idea that the Liberal government and NDP made you believe that you can separate your religion from your public life. It's one and the same. How you show up in one way is how you show up everywhere. Your belief system in truth, equality, morality, human rights, the rights of everyone to be treated equal. I don't understand how we actually believe that public life and your spiritual life is two different things. How you see your spiritual conduct and your spiritual compass determines the type of public servant you're going to be. It determines the type of business manager, a supervisor, a CEO. It does determine that. How you go into contracts? Are you manipulating? Are you lying? Are you putting, the devil in the details to get out of loops? Are you that type of conniving person? That means you're also doing that in your marriage. You're looking for a loophole. You're looking for a way to get out of something. Like you're a parent. You're looking for a way to really not tell the child what you need to, because you're more concerned about how the child is gonna be your friend after, or you don't want to stand up for what is right at your child's school because you're concerned about the parent council and if you're going to be accepted and if they're going to have play dates with you after. Like the compromising trickles over everywhere. The Liberals, NDP, fundamentally, they are against the rights of parents, the right for you to raise your child in the moral and the spiritual beliefs, which also tells them that it carries over into their public life. That is part of who we are as believers, if that's what you say, because I can't remember Jesus the Christ acting one way in the synagogue, but when he's out there with the multitude, he's acting a different way. I don't remember reading that. I don't remember when he was with his disciples, when he's with his close tribe, when he's in with his boys, he's a certain way, but when he stepped out to the multitude, he was a different way. I don't remember that. So this is why I'm just talking to the conservatives, because they are the ones that are most aligned to conservative fundamental values that are aligned to biblical values. That's what we call, you're conservative. You're not you're not out there. You're not braggadocious. You're reserved. You're conserved. You're very aligned with peace and prosperity and not going into debt and morality. There is a right, there is a wrong. You're not your truth is very objective. It's not subjective based on when you feel on AM or what you feel on the PM. It's consistent. You do believe in the rights of a mother and a father to raise their children in spiritual beliefs. You do believe that schools are just there for the reading, the writing, learning a different language, engineering. If you want to do arts, how to play the violin, how to read notes, how to put on a play, the elements of theater, but when it comes to morality and spirituality and sexuality, that's not the jurisdiction of a school system, because that is taught at home. And the return of home being that place where that jurisdiction lies. Just like the federal have a jurisdiction provincially, hence why Alberta is letting Justin Trudeau know there's a line in the sand, don't cross. It's the same thing here. That our taxpayers' money, because we're all paying taxes, it should be going into something we all agree on. If not, we need to come up with a bill that stops and abolish income tax. Because I don't want my tax dollars going into something that I am not aligned with. I'm not going to use. My children are not going to have access to it. We don't want nothing to do with it. We're all supposed to be paying into something that's common, that benefits all of us. So let's stick to the subjects that's benefiting all our children to being competitive in the areas that we all have in common. Math, science, 1 + 1 is 2, algebra, degrees, agriculture, let's stick to that. We all agree on, okay, yeah. But no, when it comes to, we don't agree, that is not where our tax dollars should be going. Roads, infrastructure, making sure the bridge doesn't fall. I think we all agree that we want our tax dollars going into making sure our roads are safe, our infrastructure, our buildings are safe, our pipes are safe, there's no sinkholes. Let's put back the tax dollars into what we're all saying we have a common interest and a stakeholder in. The garbage is being picked up on time, it's being disposed properly and environmentally, ethically, and we all want to agree that everybody's work and everybody's wages are complete. Want to make sure our healthcare system is accessible to all. Doesn't matter what pay grade or what pay, everybody has the same right to the same equal treatment, and the timelines are equal to everybody. Nobody jumps ahead of the queue because you have more money. Let's go back to what the income tax and the structures was supposed to be. Now we're diversifying it in all these different topics and stuff. We're stretching the dollar thin because we're trying to put money into areas that is none of our business. It's none of your business. You see how much money you save when we get rid of a lot of these programs, a lot of these organizations, a lot of these job titles and stuff within structures and companies that that's none of your business. Make sure that everybody it's treated with dignity, respect, and equality, and stop finding loopholes to get out of that. So the Liberal and the NDP, as I said, they're not aligned with any of that. They waste our money on ideologies and social constructs that has no place in government. Has no place. No place. You're there to govern our money, not govern us. Govern the resources that we pay our taxes into, and you're supposed to be governing that. Fiscally responsible for that. You're supposed to be managing the monies that's coming in to making sure it's being dispersed into all the communities evenly, rural, urban. You're making sure that is what you're there to do, is to manage our tax, our income tax, the monies that's coming in. You're not there to manage us as we're livestock or we're cattle or we're property. I want to manage our social constructs and manage our children's way of thinking and manage what they believe. And so I like the fact that she's an independent, a socialist, making sure, again, everybody is being treated fairly and equally, and we have a system that is supporting everybody. Health and wellness, right? Homeless, everybody should have a home, but you're not having a home and you're not doing anything to help the economy. We're not here to support lazy, and we're not here to support grifters either. We're here to provide a social safety net for those people that with no fault of their own, a business closed, bankruptcy, something happened, you got injured at the work, and that's why we have workers' compensation to make sure that you're still compensated for injury done at work and your family is taken care of. Like, that's a social safety net that we should have. Our seniors are being taken care of, right? Everybody should have enough. The money coming in should be able to take care of all of your needs. I should not need the government to help me pay for childcare and help me pay to clean my child's teeth. Like, it comes back to the private and public business sectors and how far we've given these CEOs and companies leeway to starve their front line, be unscrupulous with their front line, not give the front line what they're supposed to have because you want to give it to the shareholders and give bonuses to the ones on top, and the ones on top only are benefiting from the front line. There's a way in which, again, the workers' rights, the Labor Board of Ontario, there's a lot of slacking that I see that they're allowing businesses to get away with. And businesses, human resources department, that you are there, the resources, what's the name of it? Human. It's us. We are the resource. You're supposed to be there to manage and make sure our working environment is conducive. Instead, you're there to find loopholes for management to act unethical, unprofessional, discriminatory. Misogyny is still happening. Difference of pay, you have a male and a female, and the man is getting more money and the woman is working the same job or even was there longer. She trains this person and he's getting more money than her. Like, it's just disgusting. So many things happening right here in Ontario in the private business sector. The Labor Board is allowing. Intimidation is happening at the workplace in human resources department. HR is not there for the workers. They're there for the people on top to get away with things. Retaliation is happening within the workplace when they speak up. When employees speak up, HR is not there to have the back of their workers. There's so much flipping around and upheaval that needs to be done. But we need independent candidates. We need people who are there, who are loyal for the people and not loyal to party agenda and lobbies and lobbyist groups. This is what Ontario needs, and this is what Canada needs in a whole. So I salute her daily. almost my namesake. So that's where I got that from. And then we had finished with that post. And then this is this guy here, Dan Cohen. Loved his post. And I'm looking forward to that podcast as well. And Dan saw one of his feed, and I met him. Not met him. I heard about him because he was on a podcast on the Dean Show, and his podcast, the interview was explosive. Explosive. I strongly suggest that you go and check out the Dean Show. He is a journalist and a Jewish journalist who lived in Palestine and specifically in Gaza. And he is sharing the truth about what he has seen. I tell you, it's different narratives. And the truth about what is really happening there, not what the media is wanting you to know. And this is one of the videos, one of many I saw on his page. After looking at the interview he did with Eddie from the Dean Show, I went on his Twitter and just to see more of his content.
לא להרוג אותם ולהיות אכזרי כלפי הילדים שלנו.
Let me bring this back here because it's important for you to read the caption of what is being said. And he has a good point. If this was Putin that said this, we would be in a different place. But it's okay because it was somebody else saying it. But listen to it.
לא להרוג אותם ולהיות אכזרי כלפי הילדים שלנו. הם צריכים לדעת שכשדבר מזעזע
So the podcast, for those that are listening audible, he started off saying, to not kill them is to be cruel to our children.
לא להרוג אותם ולהיות אכזרי כלפי הילדים שלנו. הם צריכים לדעת.
Then he says they need to know that when such a horrifying thing happens,
שכשדבר מזעזע שכזה קורה, אז
the rules break.
הכללים נשברים. וגם היהודים יודעים.
The Jews also know how to kill undiscriminatively.
להרוג ללא הבחנה. כל דבר שהוא
Anything less than what I just said,
פחות ממה שאמרתי עכשיו, מזמין את הבארי הבא.
invites the next Beria, which is the word attack, and it will come.
והיא תבוא. לכו והרגו.
Go and kill them, annihilate them. Don't listen to any other command.
אותם. חיסלו אותם. אל תקשיבו לשום פקודה אחרת. מכניסים אתכם?
You are sent in to kill. This is from he seems to be a cleric, okay? A Jewish cleric. And so he says that you are go and kill them, annihilate them, don't listen to any other command.
חיסלו אותם. אל תקשיבו לשום פקודה אחרת. מכניסים אתכם? כל דבר שזז.
You are sent in, kill everything that moves.
להרוג, להשמיד, להרוג ולאבד. זאת המשימה.
This is your mission. Dear Israeli soldier, nothing less than that.
שלך חייל צה"ל יקר. לא פחות מזה.
Imagine if we heard anyone saying that, any religious leader on a Christian end saying that about the Muslims, if we hear Putin, whatever their religion is in Putin, somebody from Putin's religious camp, whatever his country religion is, said that about their Ukraine people, if they're of different religion. If someone from Russia speaking about the Ukraine people like that on a platform, you know what we would hear, right? So Dan Cohen, as I said, he's a journalist, a Jewish journalist, that his interview was very, very shocking when he revealed the things that he has seen. So go check out his Twitter account. It's Dan Cohen 3000, as you could see there. I've retweeted his stuff on my Twitter. The next post, Patrick Bet David, very good podcaster. So Dan was saying here that he is doing a documentary, a project exploiting Israel and the Zionism like never before. Right now, I can't say what it is, but it will blow the lid off the narrative. So he was just speaking about that, and I retweeted because he's asking for some support. Because obviously he said his benefactors aren't wealthy, right? And it's just the support from the public so far that he's been able to do all this stuff for all these years. There's a documentary that he mentioned that he has done. I am going to be looking at that this weekend. You can buy it for $5 to support him, or you can find it on YouTube, or he created a site specifically for it, which is very, very interesting. So if you go on his link, that's the name of the documentary, Killing Gaza. Okay. And he has the movie actually on the site. They've done it in a Vimeo link, or you can actually go on the website itself. I think it's killinggaza.com. He has a YouTube link here for it as well. I'm just gonna click on that, see if it went over there.
Everyone, this is Dan Cohen with Behind That.
Okay, so that's him here. Okay, so the YouTube link behind the headlines about the Gaza massacre that was happening there. So go check him out. And the Vimeo link is there. Killing Gaza, there it is. So I'll put the link for the Vimeo in the podcast. You can rent it. It's set for $3.85. You can buy it, but he has it on his website itself. Let me just put it in here, killinggaza.com, so you could see that. There it is, killinggaza.com. And so the movie itself is on the website. Okay, so killinggaza.com, you get to watch the film right there. Okay, so go check it out and support him. The Vimeo link is where you can purchase the video, or you can, as I said, go on his website and you'll see it there for free, right? killinggaza.com. You can watch the film there for free, or if you go on the Vimeo link that I'm going to put in the description, you can purchase it there, okay, and support his work there. So the other person that I have been retweeting in support of sharing a different narrative, right, is Eddie. And Eddie is from the podcast and the show called The Dean Show. that I've recently
Fugitives
come
end their
across.
bleak voyage, which began at a Black Sea port.
So this is a video that they did from a Holocaust survivor who shares the story that it was the Palestinians that opened up that land for them, welcomed them. When they came to Palestine because they were homeless. In 1947, it shows here. They opened up their land, welcomed them, and then the savagery against the person that gave you an opportunity, right? Ungratefulness occurred. I'm going to call it what it is. That's ungrateful. Someone gives you the opportunity to have a better life and start over, and you repay them by attacking them and attacking their home and taking away their land, taking away their home, the thing that they've worked so hard for, and you come in and you think you can just scoop it up, right? So this is what it said.
2 former American vessels carrying nearly 4,000 Jewish refugees arrive at the port of Haifa, Palestine. Jammed like cattle on the rusty craft, the fugitives end their bleak voyage, which began at a Black Sea port.
And we went from Italy to Palestine. It was not Israel yet, it was Palestine.
Yeah. How did you get, you went by boat?
By boat. We went to Israel when Israel was not Israel yet.
Two former American vessels.
Okay, so for you that's listening on the podcast, it's a black and white film. And it's about the Holocaust survivor speaking about it, and they're showing you actual film footage from 1947. And she talks about the fact that they came from Italy and they got put on ships and they went over there, and Palestine welcomed them. And I've heard this from many other Palestinians and many rabbi Jews that said that they were friends. Palestine welcomed them. They were welcoming. They used to babysit each other's children. It was great until a certain section, a section within Judaism that decided to flip the script and believe that them coming to Palestine was a divine order, and it was scripture, and this is their land. And it's just, I tell you, when you show kindness to people, it says, it turns around and bite you, but it never does. Eventually you're vindicated. Trust me. God has a way of, God's timing is always a beautiful one. So here's another one that I retweeted from Fadal Solomon. This was Gideon Levy. He's an Israeli journalist and author. He writes a weekly column for the Haaretz and listens to what he has to say. Again, for you that are listening, you can find this the visual of it on the YouTube. Okay, so I'm going to play what this Jewish journalist, also is saying about the historical content and his personal experience.
I'm an Israeli. I was born in Israel. I even perceive myself as an Israeli patriot. I care about Israel. I belong to Israel. I'm attached to Israel. Guys, it's not about peace. It's not about symmetry. There is no symmetry. Forget about symmetry. Don't speak about symmetry, because there is no symmetry. I would even suggest that there is no conflict. Was there a French-Algerian conflict? There was a brutal French occupation in Algeria, which came to its end. And there is no Israeli-Palestinian conflict. There is a brutal Israeli occupation which must come to its end one way or the other. One way was the two-state solution. One way was the two-state solution. It's a fair solution. Israel did anything possible to destroy it in an irreversible way. And now we are left only with the other alternative. There is no third way. And the one state is now 50 years old. In the front of it, there is a democracy for the Jewish citizens of Israel, with many cracks. And now with our new elected defense minister will have even more cracks, but we can still claim democracy. The second regime is to our Palestinian citizens, to what we call the Israeli Arabs, who gain some kind of civil rights, but are discriminated systematically. And in our backyard, in our dark backyard, there is a regime which is today by far one of the most cruel, brutal tyrannies on earth, not less than this, and I know what I say because I cover it for 40 years. And this regime cannot be defined but as an apartheid. Two peoples live on one piece of land. One people has all the rights in the world, and I'm talking now only about the occupied territories. Two peoples share one piece of land there. One people has all the rights in the world. The other people has no rights whatsoever. It looks like apartheid. It talks like apartheid. It is apartheid. And nobody can contradict it. Nobody who had been there. Nobody who is fair enough to look, go to the Jordan Valley, see the prosperity in the settlements, and then go and see the Palestinians who live there without electricity, without water, without any rights. And then tell me if it's apartheid.
Whew. So, did that. And then we have Omar Badar, what I retweeted, a CNN reporter who's on the ground, who is Palestinian, documented what happened.
Ibrahim Dahman is a CNN journalist inside Gaza, and he had to evacuate his own home in the face of these airstrikes. Here's his first-hand report.
أنا مع عائلتي أحاول الهرب إلى بر الأمان.
Gaza. I'm fleeing Gaza with my family. I'm with my family fleeing airstrikes in Gaza.
عائلتي أحاول الهرب إلى بر الأمان. ابني يشعر بالرعب.
خافش يا ابو خافش.
أقول له لا تخاف يا بني لا تخاف. لكن الحقيقة هي أنا خائف جدا.
اسمي إبراهيم دهمان. أنا صحفي في CNN ولسنوات عديدة ساعدت في تغطية قصص الناس في غزة. لكنني لم أكن أظن أبدا أنني سأصبح جزءا من القصة.
افتح السيارة. يوم الاثنين الماضي كنت في الرمال في مدينة غزة عندما طلبوا مني الإخلاء.
اطلع على أول حاجة على شو اسمه.
ولكن أين أذهب؟
فبيتي وعائلتي وحياتي كلها في الرمال مثل كثيرين غيري. ليس
Like so many others, I don't have anywhere else to go.
لدي أي مكان.
And this is a journalist, ladies and gentlemen. It's a CNN journalist. So what about those that are not journalists that also live there? Where were they to go if he doesn't even know where to go? When you tell people you're giving them evacuation notice and they're already crammed in, if he's saying he doesn't know where to go, but you want to blame the people for their own demise, right? Okay.
مكان آخر أذهب إليه.
وصلنا إلى الفندق.
We reach a nearby hotel.
قريب. هناك صحفيون.
There are journalists, so other journalists, families and people on their own.
وعائلات وحتى أشخاص بمفرد. نحن الآن جزء من.
We're now among the displaced. If you look, if you're just listening because you're mobile, the video shows a hallway full of people on both sides, children. It's terrifying. both sides of the hallway just sit down on the floor. They're thrown out.
من
They're rolled
النازحين
out.
بين أكثر من مليون شخص طلب منهم
1.1 million told to evacuate North Gaza.
إخلاء شمال غزة.
He's now in an elevator, and a young boy there, looks like it's with his mother, and he says to reporter, they don't strike hotels, right? So here he is, he's in a hotel, and he's wondering, am I safe here? Like, they don't strike hotels, right? Can you imagine at this age, this child looks, I would say 10. And is your 10-year-old thinking about in their apartment building where they are in Toronto or wherever in Canada? Are they wondering if a bomb is going to be hitting their apartment building? When your child go to a hotel and they're in a hotel, it's supposed to be a positive experience. Is your child wondering if a bomb is going to hit the hotel, the Hilton Hotel downtown or the Sheraton Hotel downtown or the Holiday Inn or wherever? Or is that the typical question a child in the elevator would have with you? But this is typical for this child, right? And it's okay. It's okay for you to see that, for this child to have that experience. But it's not your child, so who cares, right? Okay.
شو اسمه بنسكوش الفنادق صح؟
بنسكوش الفنادق لا.
Then he said to the child, they don't strike hotels, no.
أعلم في
And then he says, I know deep down no building is safe. But he didn't want to tell the little boy that, right?
قرارات نفسي أنه لا يوجد مبنى آمن. نشاهد الغارات الجوية من
We watch airstrikes, so now there's a visual of them in the hotel room looking through the window. They could see the bombs coming down.
نافذة الفندق. وصوت الانفجارات يبقينا
The sound of explosion keeps us awake at night.
مستيقظين في الليل.
يا راسي.
So I'm now gonna put this up. I gotta put this up. All right. Warning: viewer discretion is advised from this time on. All right.
في يومنا الثالث شاهدت مبنى مجاورا يتعرض لضربة جوية أخرى.
There's an old man coming in injured. He says this man was injured in the explosion. He could see
كان
it.
هناك رجل وقع في مرمى النيران. لاحظت أنه
He is my father's cousin. Imagine you being in a hotel during this, and the person coming in is actually family.
ابن عم والدي. والحمد لله أنه
Thankfully, he only suffered minor injuries.
أصيب بجروح طفيفة فقط.
أنا لازم
He must get away from the hotel. So now, move on to a different time. He's just like, and he's showing you the visuals of what's happening here. So yes, based on what he's showing, he has to get out of the hotel. So the hotel that he was once at, that he told the little boy that is safe, he says he has to get rid of that, get away from that because of how close these bombs are. And again, please, I encourage you to go over to the YouTube channel so you could see the visual of these posts.
لازم أتحرك من الفندق لأنه الوضع كتير صعب.
In his car, drives off, and the back of his window is shattered in his car.
نقوم بتحميل سيارتنا المتضررة بكل ما لدينا من ممتلكات ونتجه جنوبا إلى خان يونس. بعد ما طلع
Seconds, and then he says now, so he has on his helmet and his press stuff, so he's in the car, his family, and he goes, seconds after we left the hotel,
أنا من الفندق يعني ثواني.
he fired a rocket that heavily damaged the entire area.
ضربوا
His gut instincts paid off. Gut instincts.
صاروخ أو برميل خرب المنطقة كلها.
نحن الآن في خان يونس، وبالرغم من أن الغارات الجوية ما زالت مستمرة، إلا أننا
But it's safer here.
نشعر بأمان أكثر هنا، وإنها
It's only a matter of time until we flee again.
مسألة وقت فقط. ولكني أعمل
I hope one day we can return home, just like many, the 1.1 million that are all, I'm sure, just like many, they're hoping to return home one day. But what is home when your own home, you're being told is not yours, and people can just come and take it? because of a promise from a biblical scripture that says just to displace people.
أن نتمكن يوما من العودة إلى ديارنا.
So that's the post that I reposted. Then there's this post from a Zionist rabbi from Adnan Rashid's page. So part of me posting is content, but also for you to go and follow these people, right? So he did a post. He said this Zionist rabbi states that Gaza should be bombed aggressively and flattened like a football pitch, and the Israeli army should then remove filth, which is the Palestinians, from other parts of Palestine. For some reason, this stuff doesn't make it to the news channel. So he's going to speak in English, but it shows you a video of him, and it looks like he's on TikTok based on the icons I see at the side. So it looks like a TikTok video that he did, or it could be an Instagram video, but it looks like a TikTok video that this rabbi did for his audience and his platform, and then he smiles about it after he makes his comments. So listen to the comment that he made that he believes Israel should do to the Palestinians.
They're bombing right now Gaza and different places. If you're asking me if I agree with it, then no, I don't agree with it. I actually think they should do much more. I don't even think that the soldiers should even go in there. I think there should just be a couple of planes, 15 minutes, and they're finished. I think to send the people there, to send the soldiers there, is simply risking life for no reason.
Risking life, the soldiers' life, for no reason. Flatten and bomb all the Palestinian lives, but sending soldiers in to risk the soldiers' life no, we don't want to do that. Just bomb the place and kill everybody.
You just send a few planes and do a much better job. Much better job, turn it into a soccer field or something, maybe eventually build a few synagogues there. I think it would be a much, much better job. There's no reason to send the soldiers there.
And in the comments of his post, of this rabbi post, people saying, I agree, you're right, God will, somebody says here, God will punish you. So he has some backlash there. So it looks like he has Palestinian and Israeli viewers.
So I don't condone what they're doing, but I don't agree with it. I think they should be much more aggressive. And after they finish there, they can go to other parts of the land of Israel and remove the filth from there too. Yeah. Is that the answer you were looking for? Do you like that one? Like that one? Okay, good.
And he ends with this smirk and this smile that I could only describe when you visually take a look at that. That's a rabbi. That's a religious leader. That's a man of the cloth. That's a man of religious standards and principles. And that's what he is promoting. The next post that I did was a video of an ex-Israeli soldier. There's many videos of ex-Israeli soldiers that have come out. Some of them have had post-traumatic stress disorders. I've seen some testimonies, and it's for you to do your research. The information's out there, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, just don't be lazy learners, just like the COVID time. So the video caption in this video, for again those who are listening on the podcast, it says Palestine welcome Jews with open arms following the Holocaust, and they do this. Palestinians could not walk on their own streets after they've welcomed the Jews. They could not walk on their own streets. They had to walk through windows to yards into another side because they weren't allowed to walk on the same street as a Jew was walking. Talk about second-class citizens. They were now seen as filth, that they were not worthy to walk on the same road as a Jew. On your own land that you welcome them in, and now you're not allowed to walk on your own land. When they're coming, you have to not even go in another direction or walk on the other side of the street. We talk about Africans in America. We talk about segregation. They were, you have to walk on the other side of the street, or you couldn't look at them. Here, It was worse. You weren't allowed to be on the same street as them. They were they had to resort to walking through each other's windows and through each other's yards on the other side so that they don't cross paths with a Jew. So only the Jew settlers, the ones who came, were the ones allowed to walk on there. I was like, what? So this is a snippet of his video. And as I said, the caption of the video, it says here, this is disgusting. This is how the Israelis repay the Palestinians. We were, so this is in quotations from the speaker. He said, we were the terrorists. We were the terrorists. An ex-Israeli soldier speaks out. And then they're just talking about what he realized that his job was actually to maintain apartheid system. So let's take a listen. And again, for those that are listening audibly, I would translate what he said.
Is actually to maintain.
Oh, actually, I don't need to translate. He's speaking English very clearly. So here you go.
Is actually to maintain an apartheid system. Very early on, I understood that the rights that the Jewish settlers have are not the rights that the Palestinians have. I understood that I cannot touch a Jewish settler if he is attacking a Palestinian. The best I can do is call a local police department to come handle it, like I would do at home in Jerusalem.
So imagine that. He's a soldier, and if he see a Jewish person attacking a Palestinian person, he could not interfere. He had to allow the attack to happen, and the most he could do is just call the local authority. So the Jewish individual had the same rights that they had on their side of the land that was given to them. And again, the Muslims shared. They gave it to them. They needed a place to go. They're like, yeah, we have lots of land, so here you can, right, have this part. We know what it is, to be, to need a place to. So yeah, we have enough to, of course. And that's a lot of African communities are like that. Caribbean communities of African descent were all the peoples of the Americas. The indigenous peoples of the Americans like that. Yeah, come on, we have enough. Let's share. Let's live together. Right? That's how we are. And then we get the short end of the stick. Even within our own communities, you do good to someone within your own community, and they have this energy of conflict and greed. They will turn around and do the same thing. They would stab you in the back. They would want to now take from you what they came and met you with, that you opened up and embrace them and give them the opportunity to make life better. They will come and take from you. They will steal from you. They will stab you in the back. They actually believe that, just like these Jews, that God sent them to take from you. You will be surprised how many people actually believe that God gave your husband as their soulmate, or God gave your wife as their soulmate. You are their friend, or you helped them out. They were homeless, or they needed a place to stay, or they needed a job, or you employed them, or whatever the scenario is. And they actually have this convoluted idea that God works in a way that God desired for them to come and destroy your family because it was really for you. It was really for them. It wasn't for you. So they would actually say that God did this, that God is the one that sanctioned them to do this. Just like the story that the Jewish people really believe that it was God that has allowed them to have been persecuted elsewhere, allowed them to have gone through the Holocaust, all to come over here and take these people's land. And like, they actually believe that it is biblical. See, they didn't like when it's been done to them with Hitler. When Hitler comes and kicked them off and took their stuff, they bawled atrocity, and then they come and do to someone else what they were running away from, or what they said was injustice to them. They now become the Hitler to someone else. I'm just looking at the analogies of similarities. Don't hate the messenger.
So these Jewish settlers that live in Hebron are living under the same rights that I live in Jerusalem, but the Palestinian next to them, next house over, next building over, sometimes next apartment over, lives under my rule, my military rule. And I can do whatever I want with him. I can take his home as a temporary base for a few hours to a few days to a few weeks. I can decide that I'm arresting the people of the house and tying them up to the fence of my base. If we will get an order to demolish their home or just lock their front door and don't let them out into the street their house is on, a street that only Jewish settlers can walk on and Palestinians cannot. So they have to walk through windows to yards, into the other side, into the Kasbah of Hebron. I think realizing all of that in a very, very early stage in my service helped me understood that someone was lying to me along the way. I didn't feel like I'm protecting anyone. I didn't feel like I'm helping anyone feeling more safe. I feel like I'm terrorizing people. I feel like for the first time in my life, job.
Words from him, not me. All right, so I stated here, I was replying to someone when I said same here in Canada, disappointed that alternative media and freedom fighters that rose to fame for during COVID are hypocritically calling people here in Canada who support the people of Palestine, not Hamas, terrorist supporters, the same labels that Justin Trudeau did. The hypocrisy, right? He was calling them terrorist supporters for waving the Canadian flag and demanding that he leaves. And then look how he treated them. Much less Hamas, you're wanting the Palestinian people to was Canada going to support Hamas? The Palestinians? Is Canada, is the Jewish people? Did the Jewish government say they're going to help the Palestinian people get rid of Hamas? Are they trying to have allegiance with the Palestinian people? Because I know here Justin Trudeau, when, you know, the truckers and Ontarians and Canadians and Nova Scotians, everybody was waving the Canadian flag to get rid of him, he trampled them. He got help from, funny enough, he got help from other countries that send their soldiers over. Interesting. To trample on Canadians. Like literally had their horses and beat them with, but like, interesting, right? And this is Canada. And look what he did with us. And you're asking the Palestinians to kick out Hamas? You guys, Ben Shapiro and the like of you that make it seems like the formula is so simple. Right? Look how we peacefully protested. And look how we were demonized. And Canadians believed it. Bank accounts seized and people lost their jobs because we had hackers being rewarded and celebrated for hacking and finding out who donated and plastered their information all on social media, their private information, home address, everything. They got fired, bank accounts seized, all of this stuff. They got surveillanced by their own government for donating to truckers so that they don't freeze to death, that they got something to eat, that they were right. And you guys applauded it and you guys supported it right here in Canada. Right here. Right here. But you're saying Palestinians should just get rid of Hamas, this militant group that apparently seem to only be there to get rid of the apartheid system that Nelson Mandela and many others qualified to make that distinction has called it. And Hamas is the resistance of their people, because Israel and the international community is saying that what has been done is okay. I'm just saying, you created the entity and then you're upset that it's pushing back. I retweeted over here Dr. Umar Suleiman. Again, I found him on YouTube. His channel is really good. And I think it's called a Yaqueen Institute. Great videos there. But on Instagram, it is Omar Suleiman 504. And he says, here are they He goes, where are they supposed to go? Sorry, this is an outrage. No shelter, home, hospital, mosque, or a church is safe, because there was a bombing of a church that both Muslims and Christians were in, because there was nowhere to go and they had a time limit to get out. So they got out and they found this place and they thought that was safe, and it was bombed. And there's actual video of that. People are being bombed mercilessly. What international law allows this type of savagery? Okay, so here we go.
First of all, you know, understand there's been a warning for people to evacuate Gaza City.
Yes, that's true, Hani.
There's a warning. Gaza health official, at least 4,335 Palestinians are killed and more than 13,500 are injured in the conflict. There's a warning for them to go. Well, we saw firsthand a CNN journalist is just like, where am I to go? And that's a journalist, but let's listen in.
All this day, since the morning hours of this day, we've been getting calls on our mobile phones where there is a recording by the Israeli army that says clearly that every person, that you should know that every person that has...
The caption just says Israeli military, at least 1,400 Israelis are killed in the Hamas attack, including 364 police and soldiers. So listen to the numbers. 1,405 Israelis are killed by Hamas, not by Palestinians, by Hamas, including 364 police and soldiers by Hamas, not by Palestinian civilians, right? And remember, I showed you that they said at least 4,385 Palestinians have been killed and more than 13,500 injured in the conflict. Look at the discrepancies of those numbers.
We've been getting calls on our mobile phones where there is a recording by the Israeli army that says clearly that every person, that you should know that every person that has returned or still is in the Gaza City or in the northern Gaza Strip is a tourist and is considered a collaborator with tourists and must...
Imagine that. So if you're still found there because there's nowhere to go, you are now going to be classified as a terrorist and a supporter of terrorism. So they're giving you a timeline to get out, which you saw for yourself based on that one CNN journalist. Where they're supposed to go is already concentrated because they've already been caged in. And if you are still found in the area that they said to evacuate, they're now classifying you as a terrorist and or an enabler of terrorism. Then the caption says the health minister also says now 1,756 children, 967 women have been killed in the Israeli attack since October 7th. The children number alone and then the number of women alone greater than the soldiers. Notice the soldiers number, that is soldier, military. How many Hamas have they killed? They said the war is against Hamas. How many Hamas soldiers have they killed? If we're doing an apple to apple comparison, the war is with Hamas or is a war with the Palestinian people? Because I'm seeing the numbers of the people rising. The casualties of this with no care, and then telling the people they're going to be seen as terrorists if they don't leave. So it's the people. This is an attack on the people. I'm not seeing any military strategy for Hamas. It's the people.
Or in the northern Gaza Strip is a tourist and is considered a collaborator with tourists and must bear consequences. So this is the message that we have been getting on our phones. It's a mobile call, and when we answer, it's this recording that we hear on our phones. This has been going all day since the morning hours of this day.
Into northern Gaza now, where Yumna Said.
So that's what's happening there, right? They give you a warning, tell you to get out, and if you're not out, you're now classified as a terrorist or collaborative terrorism. You look at the numbers of the children and the women that died, comparing to the soldiers, Israeli soldiers, right, have died, and the number of Israelis that has died. And I'm still not seeing the number of Hamas, because the war is supposed to be against Hamas. Isn't that what they said? Where's the defense minister? Israel's supposed to be, like, talk about powerful military wise. Where is their intelligence? How are they with all the surveillance the surveillance and stuff they have? What, like, where, like, there's no intel on Hamas, but you're just striking anything because they must be there, right? I'm just gonna strike, kill, I don't care. Like, eventually we'll get Hamas, and we just, as the rabbi said, flatten everything, right? Dr. Umar also said close friends just found out 21 of his family members were wiped out last night. Another phone call in Gaza City just got a message from the Israeli army that if they haven't evacuated, they're considered terrorists. I retweeted this person, Amy Mack, who now says that America is now Islamanized. And apparently it's now Islamanized because they held an open prayer. And I'm showing her the hypocrisy, right, of comparing them being at the National Mall praying for peace. It's no different than Martin Luther King when he went to the same place. His was a speech for peace. And I remember then the same sentiments were like, oh, these N-word hijacking the place and seeing it the same way. Now they have Martin Luther King Day and he's a celebrated hero and all that. But back then, many resented because this is their space. And how dare you come and occupy this space to resist and ask for human rights? The Muslims are doing the same thing, asking for peace. And look at what she said. So she said, once again, Muslims hijack public property for Islamic prayer. This time they seized control of the National Mall in Washington, D.C., our nation's capital. Are they not American? So isn't it their nation's capital as well? Cries of Allahu Akbar echoed throughout the long, grassy National Mall, which is home to iconic monuments, including the Lincoln Memorial and the Washington Monument. At the eastern end of the domed U.S. Capitol, and the White House is in the north. Then she says the four stages of Islamic conquest. So apparently them doing this is to conquest America. They're not there praying for peace and the slaughtering of their people that's happening. No, this is about the conquest of America. So she tells them the 4 stages. First stage involves infiltration, where Muslims migrate to non-Muslim countries, promote Islam as peaceful, and increase their population through high birth rates. It's not what I said about the whole thing. It's about birth rates, isn't it? In stage 2, consolidation of power occurs with demands for accommodation, proselytizing, and efforts to undermine non-Muslim societies. The third stage escalates to open war with leadership and culture, leading to violence, ethnic cleansing, and imposing Sharia law. I'm sorry. You know, it's funny, when people show you what they're doing and they're projecting it on what you're doing. Ethnic cleansing, leading to violence. Hold on. Is she saying Islamicize America, or what the Jewish occupation was with Palestine? Because this is sound like what they did, right? First stage where they infiltrated, they infiltrated. So they weren't infiltrated, they were welcomed in, right? Where the Jews were welcomed in and they migrated to a non-Jewish country. They promote the Jewish religion as peaceful, and they increase their population through their birth rates. Was not as high as the Palestinians, but they feel like, they were increasing. Then stage 2, where the consolidation of power occurs with demands for accommodations. That sounds like what they did, right? And then the efforts to undermine a non-Jewish society. And in the third stage, the escalation of open war with leadership and culture. Sounds like what's happening, leading to violence, check, ethnic cleansing, check, check, and the impose of their law, check, check, check. And in the final stage is the establishment of a totalitarianism Islamic theocracy, the Jewish one right now, right? Eradicating all other religions, and freedoms. This sounds like what is happening right now in Palestine with what the Jewish does. And it says here it's a ceasefire. This prayer was for ceasefire. But she's not seeing what the headlines is actually saying. A ceasefire. Thousands gathered on the National Mall in Washington, D.C., calling for a ceasefire. And she says, no, it's not a ceasefire. It's a takeover. That's what Amy says. It clearly shows right here on the caption, ceasefire now, live. Says that, ceasefire now. But Amy says, oh no, mainstream media. One moment you're telling the truth and no, that's not it. It's actually a takeover. And the other time mainstream media says it's a takeover. You're like, yes, it's a takeover. So it's whatever you want that fits your belief system. And mainstream media is just feeding what you believe. And then when they're pushed to tell the truth, you still don't want to change your belief system. So first they push the lie long enough, hard enough, aggressive enough, that when they get pushed back, they retract, but it's too late because they've already conditioned you to believe what they said the first time. So no matter what they show you afterwards, you're stuck holding on to the first image and the belief system that they told you. That's the setup, Amy. So I just gently reminded Amy, that's exactly what they said about Martin Luther King too. I put it in her post and I retweeted on my own page. So what I said here is also in her post. So then now I just reminded, see, October 2nd, this came to me after meditation. This was 5 days before all of the conflict started, 5 days before. And they normally say 5 is the number of grace. And I woke up from my meditation. This was just heavy for me just to put out there. And it just says, just a loving reminder, personally and politically, your point of power is in the present moment. Love, Upper Hope Day. I posted that on all of my social medias on October 2nd. It was heavily impressed on me to put that out there. And I had a reminder to retweet it again. Your point of power is in the present moment. It's in the present. Forget about what you could have done, should have done. Oh my God, I messed up. Okay, great. Now you know better, do better. Your point of power is in this present moment. Then now we have a protest now, a boycott to want to boycott Moxie's because apparently the workers in Moxie's are supporting, they saying, terrorism by them just coming out, seeing the massive protest downtown with the pro-Palestine protest for the peace for the Palestinian people. And apparently because the workers came out and was celebrating the Palestinian people protesting for peace, they're apparently terrorist enablers. And now we have Torontonians boycotting Moxie's and asking Moxie's to fire them. And I said it's funny because when the Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland and the mayor at that time, John Tory, they had a walk through downtown Toronto, and I remember them waving the Ukrainian flag. And I'm sure if those workers came out and was waving the celebrating, and Russian people who are against had said they're gonna boycott Moxie's, and Moxie's had fired them, I know Moxie's would have had a heck of a storm. The boycott would have been to hire them back. Chrystia Freeland might have even written the CAO. the CEO, and John Tory, the mayor, might have even had a personal phone call and say, hey, you better hire them back. Guaranteed. They would not have been fired if it was a Ukraine protest. And if Moxie's said that their policy, period, is that if you're on the clock, stay out of politics, we don't care what's happening outside, stay neutral. If Moxie says, no, we're firing them because it's neutrality and it's just a policy, Chrystia Freeland and John Tory would have found a way to make the CEO see it in a different way. Trust me. They would have made sure. And they would have been hired back. So this is not about a policy or procedure that when you're on the clock. No. No, this is the beginning of the China social credit system. If you do something that we like, if you support something that you like, we salute you, right? We might even give you a raise. But if you dare oppose something that we say is right, if you oppose it and we say it's right and this is what you're supposed to do and you oppose it, man, your credit score drops, your job is gone, you're tarnished, oh my goodness. So here we are starting with our own version of the Chinese credit social system of demanding people lose their jobs because they are showing their support to something they believe in. On the clock or otherwise, you know that if this was Ukraine, you would not have been asking for Moxie to fire them. So this is what it was. This is the video there. One of the workers took a picture of the flag. The other ones, like, what's going on? They came out saluting them. Not saluting, sorry, cheering them on, supporting them. Yeah, peace. We want peace. This guy, I don't know if he's a supervisor or not, they came out supporting him saying, yeah, we want peace. You're right. People are dying. Civilians. It's not the military. This is civilians are dying. Now they're wanting to boycott Moxies and tell Moxies to fire them. Imagine that. I really want to see if Moxie is going to do this because the backlash that Moxies is going to get is going to be much greater than what they think. Because all these people that's talking probably only go once a year, probably go eat there once a year, right? And if you look people within the restaurant, I just noticed that. We're going to look at people within the restaurant over here. Whoa, so fast. Let me go back, pause. See right here, I don't know if you could see it from where I am showing, but it's not their reflection I'm talking about that's in this is right. I'm not talking about their reflection. Like if you look within, hold on, I'm gonna go, or was it their reflection? Let's go back here and see. That's their reflection. Let's see. Pause. Or is it reflection of the people outside? No, that looks like somebody sitting down. It could be her reflection that I saw. No, I stand corrected. That was her reflection. I was gonna say there's people inside those chairs. No, that was her reflection. I stand corrected. Right? Obviously, there's. So then, people pushing back to us. So hope Moxie sees, be careful. People are pushing back and saying, what's, yeah. Someone says here, now we're saying that's privilege. You're wanting them to fire minimum wage women. They put a color in there. Like, Moxie's better be very careful. If I was Moxie, turn the other cheek and pretend you won't see it. Just mind your business, Moxie. Stay out of social media tweets and these people. Just mind your business and just let the business go. Because trust me, the pushback might not be in your best interest. So then now in my further studies and research and finding, exactly what's happening, I came about this video. And I made a note here and I said, research found this narrative feels like the one COVID narrative to believe in, feels like the one climate change narrative to believe in, feels like the one BLM narrative to believe in, feels like the one SOGI, which is the acronym for sexual orientation, gender identity, narrative to believe in. And I said, Canadians have learned nothing from running behind one narrative. And the caption says, the Jews supporting Palestine in the anti-Zionist neighborhood of Mea Shearim in Jerusalem. Israel is not the land of the Jewish people. So this again, apart, just like the documentary that we saw there, again, from the land itself, on the ground. This is on the ground people that are living there. You have Jews that are also saying that Israel is not the land for the Jewish people. It says the Jewish people are an ancient religious entity, not a nationality. So they're saying it's an entity, it's a religious entity. The Jewish people, it's not a nationality. This is what they're saying. Don't talk. This is the Torah people talking, all right? The land of Israel is defined in Judaism as the Holy Land, not a political state. So if it's a holy land, it's a holy land for all. That's why Christians are there, Muslims are there. They welcome you. They gave you a place to be. When you were kicked out, they gave you a place to be. They gave you a place in the Holy Land to be a part of it. And now you want to dominate it. Instead of coming in and being a great neighbor and contributing to it being a holy land where all three are represented. And people talk about the Trinity, but you have the three strands from the whole Davidic Abrahamic lineage. You have the Muslim, you have the Christian, you have the Judaism, all three right there. That is a holy land. But no, you want to make it a land of conflict. That's what it says. That's what they say. The land of Israel is defined in Judaism as the Holy Land, not a political state. Then it says Zionism is a distortion of Judaism. I didn't say it. The Torah, Judaism said it. And it said Zionism is an atheist ideology. That would mean that they don't believe in, you figure that out. So this is them showing support. And funny, what is it that you see? A Palestinian flag? And what do you see them waving? What do you see them waving? Palestinian flag, Hamas flag. I believe that's the Palestinian flag. Big and bold. Yep. I believe that's what it is as well. Let me just pull it up. Yeah, I believe that's what it is as well. I believe that's what it is as well. Now, there's controversy over here with this group. I'm not even going to go in there. Queers for Palestine. And there's a video of them showing up to the pro-Palestine movement with a BLM sign and a LGBTQ sign. And the Palestinian people ripped it down. And I said, good. You guys like to hijack people's movement with your flag. So if you're going to go and support Palestine, support Palestine. But they're going in with a queer LGBTQ, the pride flag and the BLM flag. And the Palestinians ripped that thing down right away. I saw the video. I saluted. I said, good. Straight up. This is not your movement. You want to stand with people, just stand with them. Nobody needs to see you. If you want to stand with them, it's only one flag they want to see is the Palestinian flag, period. That's it. And I love the fact that they're unapologetic. You want to stand with us against the human rights of us, people being bombed and decapitated and all that. People want to talk about human rights. I don't see there's an LGBTQ nation where people are bombing and they're putting white phosphorus for your skin to dissolve. You're getting beheaded. You're getting eliminated. I don't see that. So stop. And then even how you hijack the civil rights movement, trying to make your struggle the same as the African American struggle. We're all being oppressed. Stop it. And I've always said that. They allowed you to hijack it. I didn't. You don't speak for me. And the fact that your oppression is the same as my ancestors' oppression. And stop it. And I'm happy that the Palestinians, they're not even giving them a way in. It's like, nope. You want to support us, just come, clap, and march. Show your support by adding the body number. But the only flag that's being waved is a Palestinian flag, and good for them. I saw that, and I said, good. We don't want no LGBTQ pride flag. We don't want the BLM pride flag. We don't want any other flag. We don't want any other flag. Because this movement and this issue right now is about the Palestinian people. Period. Point blank. Not the Palestinian Arabs, the Palestinian Jews, the Palestinian gays, the Palestinian queers, the Palestinian. It's a Palestinian. And that's the difference. You're Palestinian, you're Palestinian. We don't care about what you do in the bedroom. We don't care about that. You're Palestinian, you're Palestinian. You're from Palestine, done. That's it. I love it. So I'm not even going to show you that video. It's out there circulating. I said, good for them. They pulled it down. They ripped it out of his hand, separated from the pole. Boom. You want to support us? Just support us. Don't bring your flag up in here to try to co-opt our movement and now want to bring it in. So queers for Palestine. Why are you saying queers for Palestine? Why you just not join their movement and just be under whatever their Palestinian group is? Just come in. But you see, they're the same energy, just like the same energy the Palestinians have dealt with, and I think they've learned the lesson. Don't let people come in. Just come in. Just come in. But no, you want to come in to take over, because eventually you're going to want to take over. Then you're going to want to create a flag that is Palestinian and a hybrid of pride. No, it's Palestinian. Boom. So good for them. I saluted them. I'm like, good for you. When I saw that video, I'm like, good for you. Yeah. If you're for us, just for us. Don't want to hijack our issues. And no. So now this is another one where now this cat Canada, she wants to share a video, a post, saying to watch a completely clueless, and she bolded the word clueless, student try to absolutely fail to explain how Israel is supposedly an apartheid state to an Arab who lives in Israel. It's so cringe, yet you can't look away. So apparently, this is a video of an Arab who intentionally went to a student display board, right? And go in there disingenuously saying, oh, I just came for information, but obviously went there to embarrass her because he's already have somebody filming and he's mic'd up so that, it's being recorded. And he's first come in as if he's actually being genuine, and then slowly it turned into the fact that he is being passive and aggressive. And I remembered when the same thing was done to students, and I said, I remember when attacks were done on those who had a passion for sharing truth about COVID, being approached by someone disingenuous to embarrass them. Teachers who made students feel like their parents were wrong. I remember that. Because you come with your academic knowledge and you're not going on equal playing field, because a lot of these teachers and a lot of these people that bully, they use their academics to bully others. When they're on the same level with another academic, they get decimated. And they don't like the feeling when they are now on an equal playing field, but not on an equal playing field, because you're with another academic, but they realize this academic knows more and the academic is destroying them. They didn't like that. So now what they do, they're little bullies. They're academic bullies, man. There's bullies everywhere. They want to take their knowledge, what they've learned, and they want to come now and humiliate people. But then when they meet somebody their own category, man, they get decimated. So this is a video of him humiliating her and trying to make her look small. And I just said, you know what? Nelson Mandela called it apartheid. I wish he was around to want to school Nelson Mandela. And there's others, the South African delegates, and there's others, Jimmy Carter, many, the American president, Jimmy Carter, many of them calling apartheid, and they had a document to show it, the documentation. But because he lives there, he's like, oh, it's not an apartheid state. Well, you're probably one of the privileged Arabs. You're probably one of the privileged ones, my dear. I don't know, but it's being documented that it is. So let's listen to him trying to use his academics to embarrass her. And I responded back, and I got some people that liked my response. And I'm like, you know what? She is just doing her level best in her capacity to bring information. And if he wants to debate it with somebody else on his level, and let's see how far that goes. And I put the link to Nelson Mandela. So when people see my response and click on the link, they're going to realize that this student that's being ambushed, she was right.
Can I like get a little bit knowledge about it? Can I like get a bit more things about it?
I'm not the best to ask because I'm not super knowledgeable.
And she said that. She disclaimed that. She goes, I don't know what, you to say because I'm not super knowledgeable. So it looks like she's in a booth and she's been assigned a booth or whatever it is, but she's just there to share information. Just take the damn pamphlet, take the flyer, and keep walking. And she disclosed, I don't have information. So I'm just here to make sure that the booth has someone, and here's the information but no, he wants to now, he hears that. So he now, he comes in, right? To make her feel small. See people like that? My boy, it's okay. He's gonna meet his match. I hope somebody figured out who he is and tag him and have an academic, pay him a visit.
What kind of
Aren't you? Sorry, I'm really confused because this is really important. This apartheid is not okay.
Yeah.
And I tried to go online and search about it.
See what he said? He says this apartheid is not okay. Okay, so if you agree that it's not okay, why are you there? Or are you saying the word apartheid is not okay? So you want to go and search it. I went to search it, and my search came very quickly. So I don't know what kind of search you said you went and you couldn't find anything. So right again, you're a liar. Because my search was less than 5 minutes. You put out apartheid Palestine, and you see a whole heap of information on it. You my audience, go Google it or DuckDuckGo it or whatever, and you'll see. But he's saying he did research, he couldn't find anything. I don't know what search engine you're using, bro.
And I saw a lot of talks like, oh, there isn't apartheid, there is apartheid.
I don't know what you're searching, buddy.
And I said, I'm gonna come here, I'm just gonna hear it from you guys.
Okay, so let me get that. You went to search, you're looking for knowledge. And you went to search about apartheid because you heard about apartheid. It's not right. So you went to search to see if it's true. And you, with all of your searching online, and you went to libraries and you went to you just couldn't find anything. You heard it is, you heard it isn't, and all of the argument. And you said, forget about everything I'm hearing. I'm just going to come to a school gym table and ask you guys. So now you're making them the authority on the topic. With the wealth of information online, none of that was sufficient. You're going to now put the onus on a gymnasium with the students with a tabletop display, and you're going to be like, forget about it. I'm going to come to you for the source. Listen to me. You see people like this? Boy, whoo.
But can I like, oh, there isn't apartheid, there is apartheid, and I said I'm gonna come here, I'm just gonna hear it from you guys. But can I be honest? I'm really a bit disappointed because I thought if you represent the Palestinian club, you would know about it.
Yeah, no, I mean.
So wait, is there apartheid in there?
If you're asking for my personal opinion, yes.
What do you
Because if you're asking for my personal opinion, yes.
mean personal opinion?
As in, just my opinion, yes, yeah.
I'm a bit confused, sorry, because
I'm sorry. If you're confused by this point, you're not confused. There's a word for you. But partner, it's not confused. The word for you is not confused.
like the personal opinion does not matter. The fact doesn't matter, right? Like if there is an apartheid or no.
Yeah.
What's the apartheid? It's like, what do you do in that? Like, what?
The definition of.
The cringe isn't her. The cringe is him. And that's what I said. The cringe wasn't her. The cringe is him. Like, he is bullying. He's being disingenuous. He's being obnoxious. The cringe is you, sir. you just expose yourself, and I really wish people find who you are. I really wish. I really, really do wish.
Yeah.
Especially that you're said that you're Arab. I would love for someone in the community to find you and help you along the way.
I mean, again, like I don't have the definition with me. I think from what I believe, I mean, you've got checkpoints. So.
Well, you have checkpoints also like in between countries, no? If someone from Argentina wants to go to Brazil, doesn't he go to a checkpoint? So this is not exactly the definition of apartheid.
You know what? Don't be an.
Like Amnesty said that they are part of, like they're apartheid as well, that they live under apartheid as well. They do.
Okay, so you said Amnesty said that. So so that means you went and searched on Amnesty, and Amnesty still didn't have enough information for you, or not. The information you found on Amnesty was not good enough. So you're coming to a high school student or a college student, or like you're there. You went to Amnesty International site. You went to Amnesty. You said that Amnesty called it apartheid. Whatever information is over there was not good enough for you. You didn't reach out to Amnesty. Did you send Amnesty a support email? Did you click on contact us? Did you reach out to them so that you can get no. You're gonna come down to a gymnasium tabletop event.
Who live under apartheid? The Arabs who live in Israel as well?
To that extent, I wouldn't know. I've never been to Israel.
Okay. And the Palestinians?
I've never been to Palestine either. No, yeah.
So they live under apartheid or they don't live under apartheid? How does it like implemented? How does it on the ground?
Why don't you go do your research, buddy? Like the cringe is you. The cringe is not her. The cringe is you. Oh, I swear to God, I can't stand any more of this. But you guys can click on that. Like up until a certain point, I think I was done.
I mean, so like I said, so checkpoints can be an area of contention. I mean, you've got things like separate, what is it, like license plates?
The license of the car?
Yeah, it's like a different color.
Why it should be the same? If like a person from New Zealand has a license plate of New Zealand and a person from Australia has a license plate from Australia, how is that? So New Zealand is an apartheid to Australia, or Australia is an apartheid to New Zealand?
Okay, he's an idiot. So yeah, you guys can watch it. I think that was the point when I was just like, you're done, because you're talking like if you want to know if you are an Arab and you want to know about your own people and you don't believe in that, there's other reputable place that you can go instead of coming here to harass this student. And it just shows you're an ignorant. You're an idiot. And then I just posted this, just letting people know. Being a life coach, I don't tell people what or who to believe, who to boycott, who to support, what to put in their body, what political party, to vote for. I remain objective to the truths that are staring my clients in their face, right? I watch my wording of implied meaning. I remain objective and being a critical, independent thinker. And that's what I ask for Canadians to start to remember what COVID was like and how we were inundated with it. And then lastly, the post here, I ended off saying liberals, progressive conservatives, socialists, and libertarians, go figure, because libertarians are the one that, give me liberty, leave me the hell alone. But I find that, they like to box me in, but they can't box me in. Which one am I? Which one is she? And I say it's pretty simple. I would not toe the line more loyal to a leader of a party or a lobby group over loyalty to human rights, workers' rights, and parental rights, period. I'm like, don't box me into any party. If your party has values that align with mine, then we're on the same page. But what happens when you say, okay, I'm going to join a party because I want to support this party being in power more because they align more? They believe that you have to agree with everything that's like, no, because there's some things the conservatives are doing that I find they're too progressive in. and they're losing the foundational essence of what it is to be a conservative. And then conservatives, I find, because a lot of them are Christian, from a Christian background, because again, the alignment of values, this Christian supporting Jews blindly and not feeling that you can criticize them. If you're a good friend, you're saying you're a friend of the Jews, you're a friend of Israel, a good friend tells a friend the truth. A good friend corrects a friend. A good friend doesn't see a friend doing something wrong that is, and just be quiet or being a yes man or a yes woman. That's not a good friend. So if you're a friend of Israel, you should be able to tell Israel you're wrong. So as a result of that, there's many Christians that, would be very upset that I am not retweeting anything from the Jewish pages, not because of automatically believing one side. I looked at both sides. Trust me, I've been sent the pages of many others, and I'm looking at what they're saying. And the thing that I find that's different is the Jewish narrative talks about the Palestinian response, shows what's happening. Because all of the things that started this off, just like 9/11 and all the wars we went to based on, the Jewish narrative or somebody blaming somebody, declassification of files later tells us, oopsies, we were wrong. Oh, that wasn't true. Oh, there was a lie. Oh, we were wrong. At what point do we stop listening to this friend that tells us the sky is falling? At what time do you say, hold on a minute, partner? Our friendship is tight, but guess what? The last 3 times I believed you, the last 3 times, I ride and died for you, I end up looking stupid. I end up with egg on my face. You lied, you misinformed, you didn't check out, or you blatantly knew that you were, and because of my loyalty and friendship, you abused that. Where is that friendship when you just sit to your friend, stop it? Okay, who hit you now? Okay, let's go research this. Because I've had enough evidence that I can't trust you anymore. I have to see the evidence. Oh, you don't trust me now? We're not good friends. Yeah, you're right. I don't. History has shown me that when you say something, it's not credible and lives are lost. No. Instead, we just keep running with what they're saying. So I'm sorry. I'm not going to toe that line. They say these things that's triggered, everything started, and every piece of evidence that they were supposed to produce, they retracted. They said blatantly, we're sorry. And I'm like, okay, so at what point do we say, okay, if all those things that got us all emotionally charged are debunked, we're lied, disinformed, AI generated, third party, fourth party sources, then people came back alive, they're not dead, they were not kidnapped, oh no, this didn't happen, oh this didn't happen, no, the 4D thing didn't happen, no, and we're like, whoa. So why are we still aggressively attacking? Hold on a minute, hold on. Because you made it sound like a 9/11, let's just annihilate because of da-da-da. Okay, stop, hold on. Where's the weapons of mass destruction? Oops, there isn't. Okay, and how many lies did we disseminate? We just disseminated these people, just desecrated, and it's like, and what about the Afghanistan? Oh, that was wrong too. What about that was misinformation. Whoa. So at the beginning, we heard all this stuff. I remember the baby in the incubator story. Remember that one? So we hear now the babies again. Now it's a retraction. We heard this kidnap. Okay, now it's a retraction. We heard that was okay. Now it's a retract. Okay, let's stop. No. We're supplying. We're arming. Whoa. And where's the proof of all these? Because at the end of the day, all I'm seeing the facts of what Palestinians are saying. I'm hearing the rhetoric of what the Jewish narrative is saying. I'm seeing what the Palestinians are saying. I'm hearing what the Jewish population is saying. I'm seeing and I'm hearing. I'm hearing and I'm seeing. Guess what I'm going on? Real time, real live, real accounts of what is being shown. No photoshopping, that's what I'm going. And then I'm seeing the numbers of the children. That's the one that tugged my heart. I'm like, okay, where's the war? Well, like I thought we were supposed to have a standard here. I'm gonna end with this young man here. I pray for his safety every day. I heard about him on the podcast that the Dean Show, as I said, when I heard with the Killing of Gaza director was on, and he talked about this guy Motaz, and he's supposed to be a photographer. He's supposed to be, a portrait photographer, and now his life has been turned into documenting these atrocities. And there are some visuals that are disturbing. Real life, the first one, this is not disturbing, this is beautiful. It shows you all shades of Islam, all shades of Muslim. Yeah. As I said, there's a pattern of the people that are on the short end of the stick. There's a pattern of the energies that seem not to be able to coexist with people peacefully. And a pattern of the people that are always embracing, always loving, always welcoming, and always still have a smile on their face no matter what has been thrown to them generationally. We're still able to bounce back. And as I did before, I'm going to put this up because his stuff is real life, showing you he's not mixing any words. Give him a follow. I'm going to show you this one. This one got my heart. As many got my heart. As I said, I hear what Israel's saying, and I see what Palestinians are showing. I'm still waiting to see the Hamas. I'm just seeing Palestinians, babies. Innocent children. That's what I'm seeing. Innocent children is what I'm seeing. I'm going to don't matter where you are in the world, you're a mother. And when you remember that this story is all because you opened up your arms and you welcomed people in, you opened up your arms and you thought about the best of others, and then you see the repayment of the destruction of when you say yes to energies that are just me, myself, and I, you do cry. You do cry when you see the aftermath of what happens to those that welcome and are accommodating. But then it's the children, their lives being destroyed because of the energy of me, myself, and I. And as I said, a warning. Because here we go.
Can anyone just tell me what they did to deserve this, to be murdered in this way? I mean, please. There's any reason that these children, 2 years, 3 years, get murdered in this way? They were like sleeping. I don't know what the fuck is happening.
it's raw, and he has to show you the rawness. There's many other pictures of him showing the rawness because we come back to, if this is a war against Hamas, where's Hamas? Where's the bodies of Hamas? I'm seeing the bodies of the children. I'm not seeing the bodies of Hamas. I'm seeing the bodies of the children.
Heading to the place that got striked, and just people gave me these two babies. They are injured by the bombing. I just see them. You're fine.
So there's many videos of him driving, and they're picking up, the injured, and mothers are just handing their babies. Mothers are just giving him their children to take to the hospital. They're just handing them. I saw one, he's in the front seat, and they're tapping on the window, and they're just, take my baby. Where is the Hamas soldiers? This is supposed to be about Hamas. Where are the Hamas soldiers? That's all we're asking. If this is supposed to be a war against Hamas, where are the Hamas soldiers? I'm just seeing children. Where are the Hamas soldiers? Israel, I'm just asking. Where are the Hamas soldiers? Where are the Hamas soldiers? It's supposed to be about Hamas, right? Where's Hamas? Are these the Hamas buildings? Where's the Hamas? Where's the intelligence? You're supposed to have intelligence, right? You guys are heavily militarized. Where is Hamas? Where's the attack on Hamas? It's supposed to be attack on Hamas. Where's attack on Hamas? Where is the attack on Hamas? That's what we're asking you, because this is supposed to be a war on Hamas, right? Just like 9/11 and incubator babies, and they were like, it's supposed to be on the evil people, right? It's supposed to be on the evil people, right? There's sensitive content, and go on his page, and I'm just going to show you the ones that are there, but go on his page and you'll see it for yourself. Go on your page and you'll see it for yourself. Where is the war on Hamas? This is on the innocent children. You are getting rid of the children. They're overpopulating. At the end of the day, there's a narrative that I have come across, and that's what I'm going to, until you show me and you show the world otherwise. Until you show us something else. And despite everything, just like the people of African descent, just like the indigenous people, just like we still have a way of smiling through adversity, and that is what you hate. You cannot kill our spirit. You cannot kill our spirit. You're still going to see them thriving because there is something in our DNA that you don't have. And I'm talking about the energy of evil. Because it is in every society, Jewish, Christian, Muslim, Hindu, Sikh, Baptist, Pentecostal, Evangelical, Apostolic, Mormon, Presbyterian, Anglican, Catholic, Buddhist. And the list goes on. You find good and bad in everything. I heard somebody says it's not a religion that makes a person good, it's the person that makes a religion good. It was said by a billionaire gypsies. I think they said it's, I don't know, the first billionaire gypsy or whatever, but I can't remember his name right now. But he was on a podcast, and they were just talking about how he feels about his son, who's also now a millionaire, converting to Islam. And he said, you know, he just told him, it's not a religion that makes someone's good, it's someone who made the religion good, because that person could bring shame to religion, or they could bring honor to a religion. And I stand firm on that. And this is just beautiful here again, showing you. Right. His name was, yes, the millionaire is Alfie Best, the gypsy billionaire, right? And he made that quote when they're talking about how does he feel about his son converting to Islam. And he's like, he told his son, it's not a religion that makes a man good or makes a person good, it's the person that makes a religion good, makes that, right? And in the midst of it all, who knows if this child, you know, we see this child, you see all these faces, what makes, it's a bittersweet, because I'm looking at these faces and I'm wondering how many of them are going to come out of this alive, right? Are we going to see this little girl behind there? She's still going to be there. This little boy, are we going to, a couple of years from now, you know, is he going to be okay? You know, everybody here that's surviving, they know how to, you live in this, you know, you get up every day and you're just thankful for the day and you make the best of it. And it's the adults that make sure that, you know what, they keep the laughter going, they keep it going, that they're resilient. And I know there's an energy that just resents that. You just can't flatten that out, can you? You can't flatten that out. Can't flatten that out. Right? Yeah, the resilience. The resilience. So many of us in Australia see what's happening. Many of us in Canada are seeing what's happening too. A resilient set of people. People, melanin people, people of color. Very resilient. You throw so much at them and they just keep bouncing back. And then you go other places where the melanin is not strong. Ireland. They bounce back. They bounce back. That's why they're so passionate, because they know the history of their own people as well. Historically, the pattern that is historical is against the people of color. The people who are indigenous to the land. They come in different hues and different shades as a result of their position to the equator, the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. They have color in their skin. The melanin is darker, lasts longer to protect them. And for some reason, people see that melanin as something to hate. Something to hate. So, as I say, I see what the Palestinians are saying. I hear what the Jewish government, Israelis are saying. I hear what they're saying. I see what the Palestinians are showing. And this is one of many where they're going in and saving their pets. I saw one where the guy is so happy that his dog was saved. And someone made the statement, if this was a bombing of an animal shelter and dogs and cats, we'll see more uproar and humanity over the dogs and the cats. And how dare you? Then innocent people. Who are they? Hamas? Like, I want to know where is Hamas? Where is Hamas here? I don't see Hamas here. I see civilians that are already in a state. That's what I see here. And you wonder why. Then they grow up and you want to know why they hate and why they want to fight for their freedom and fight for their resilience. You wonder why. Really? You have the audacity to wonder why? Come on now, Canadians. You here who say, I see. There's one idiot on Twitter that said, I see how Palestinians are here protesting. I want to know what good is it going to do for you protesting here. And it's a freedom fighter. He put a Twitter post up, and he is apparently in a court case with Maxime Bernier fighting for the freedoms of Canadians. No, you're fighting for your freedom. Because for you to make that stupid statement, you don't see the relevance of why they're protesting here. They're over here, right? Their life is fine here, right? This is the type of pictures he was taking. Before he was, this is the type of pictures, portrait pictures. And he's now having to document the atrocities. As I said, I'm seeing what the Palestinians are going through. I hear what the Israelis are saying. I see what the Palestinians are showing. So, my strong recommendation to Canadians is to stand down, put your human shoes on, and put your critical thinking in action. Ask Israel to show you the Hamas numbers. I want Israel to show the Hamas pictures, the Hamas soldiers. I want to see, like, where's the Hamas body count? Because you said this is about Hamas. And then we also are asking you to explain why these people want to attack you. Do you know why? You're just peaceful there, right? You're doing nothing. You're minding your business. You're just living peacefully with them, and they're just out to annihilate you and attack you. Why? Why is that? Like, what's the inception of this? Like, what started this? You don't know? It's not necessary. It's irrelevant at this point. You want to tell me? Really? Okay. As I said, this is my this is just me doing my part to ask for some common sense in ask for some common sense in what is being said, to just ask for some common sense in what is being said that this war is about. We've been lied to before with other wars, so stop acting like it's not proper to say it. We have been lied to before. That's the truth. We have been lied to before. Lie to me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on who? This is more 3, 4, 5 wars that I could remember. Come on, Canadians. Demand that Canada does the moral thing. I don't know at this point if that is even possible as a result of what they've done, Justin Trudeau have done to his own citizens. And so far, the responses I've heard from the conservative side and everybody's side is just like, and then asking for ceasefire and return of hostages and all of that stuff. Listen, what you all want to do between military, what I'm saying, if we're going to want to release hostages, release all the Palestinian civilian hostages. That's what I'm saying. And if we're not going to do that, I heard it's over 5,000. In one report I was reading, another research article I was reading, I think it was I think it was 5,000. See if I have it still, because it's been a long podcast and I'm exhausted emotionally now. But let me pull it up. Let me see here. What's this one? Oh, that's the Nelson Mandela. Oh, the freedom fighter guy. His name was Sean Richard or Rickard on Twitter, and he's asking why Palestinians are protesting here in Canada, and he says that they're receiving humane and federal. Let me see if I could show you my screen of some of the notes I've taken so far. You guys, it's very easy to do research. It really is. It's not hard. It's the willingness to want to know the truth. It's the willingness to want to know the truth. Right? It's the willingness to want to know the truth. And if you're passionate about something, or you really want to stand on something, put time into what you say you want to do. So his name was, because my documentation, I just put the links and then whatever I want to say after the fact. But yeah, he was saying, they're receiving humane and fair treatment in Canada, right? So his question is, why are they protesting here in Canada? And that was just some notes that I put down here just for me to my talking points, because I know the topic is going to come up. I can't believe he said that. But this is a video here from Nelson Mandela. I'll put the link into it, his own words about it. He called it an apartheid. It's so funny. I guess many forget that Nelson Mandela himself was classified as a terrorist. And 6 times he refused to be released under the conditions, that he renounced violence. And so he was given the ability to be free. And he said, no, if that's going to be your terms, I'll stay locked in. He believed that armed resistance to oppression was sometimes justified. It's funny how we have amnesia with history. We have we select what we want to remember to make us feel good and make us not be held accountable because of whatever the guilt and shame might be attached to it. Guilt and shame cannot have a hold on you if you are a person that's already done your mirror work, if you've done self-reflection, right? It can't keep you prisoner. Neither one of those can keep you prisoner. The only time they keep you prisoner when you refuse to do the work. So you don't want to look at it. Like, don't show it to me. Don't bring it up. Don't make me look at it. Don't make me talk about it. Don't want me, like, because you refuse to want to do the work. When you've looked at it and say, yeah, show it to me. Let me see that ugly side of myself. Let me see what I caused. Let me see yeah, okay, and let's walk through this. The why. How did I get there? What was my thinking? And also give the person the ability to show that, their side, their reasoning of why because there's always, people are human. The othering of people, though, the blaming of people, and it's always somebody else's fault, and there's no responsibility, there's no accountability. That's when, you are a prisoner to guilt and shame. I tell people guilt and shame don't know my postal code, they don't know my address, and they definitely can't knock on my door. Because I always take full accountability for saying yes to someone when I should have said no, giving people more than 2 or 3 chances when I said, after 1 or 2, you're done. Making a decision out of anger, out of hurt, generational traumas that trigger you when you run into a decision. I've owned it all. And then we do a course correction. And part of course correction hurt other people's feelings because they're so used to you. They're used to how you were when you were in that state of revenge and hurt, and they love the benefits of it. And when you said, no, that doesn't serve me anymore, and yeah, that was a mistake, should not have done that, should not have said yes to you, should not have signed that contract, you know what, that was wrong, they're like, hold on, that would mean that you want to end the relationship on those terms. Or you could say, we can move on the relationship, we're going to move on the relationship on terms that are ethical, honest. And they're like, whoa, no, I don't deal with honesty, I don't deal with ethics. Whoa, hold on. Now you're the enemy because you're not partaking in their low, disgusting vibrations anymore. So now they turn on you. The same people that were loving you being a partner in their negativity now see you as an enemy because you want to step away from it, right? So blame and shame doesn't work. And I heard York University students are given an ultimatum because they said that it's apartheid and all that. And it's like, you know what? These student association boards they're repeating what experts and officiated documentation have stated. Nelson Mandela himself called it apartheid. He did a full speech of it. He made sure him and Yasser Arafat were best friends, and he did not mince words. He was not one to be politically correct when it came to this. He called it out and called out people like that. Tip my hat to Nelson Mandela. Up until Arafat's dying day, he never turned his back or never watered down to appease the West or anything. He was just like, nope. And then they did reports. Other organizations did their own independent report. You had soldiers telling you about it. So it's not the York University students or student bodies that is calling it apartheid. How dare you? It is. It's the or that idiot that says he went online and he researched and the UN is calling apartheid and he's going to go to a gymnasium, a high school gymnasium, or it could be a college gymnasium, tabletop information desk to grill a student. And like, get out of here, dude. If you really want to know, you'll actually go where you can get information. This is not you wanting to, this is you trying to embarrass somebody, and the embarrassment is on you, because for you to be an Arab and act ignorant and like you're just, that's why I said I need someone within your community to figure out who you are and get you caught up, because obviously you are a privileged version of your community, and we have that in all communities where they're so privileged that they don't see what the majority is experiencing. They are the me, myself, and I did well, my life is fine, and they're the ones that this guy Sean refers to. They're the ones whose life is great and want to know, don't want to be bothered about what's going on back home, or they're in back home, they live there, and their experience is different because of whatever privilege, whatever pass card they have, and it's just like they refuse to see the majority living conditions. Whatever it is, he needs to get caught up with what's going on in his own backyard, or he has selective amnesia, or he had blinders on when he was living there. I don't know, but it's for his community members to figure him out. I got all of that off my chest. This was therapeutic for me. I needed to get this out because it was important for me to let the people of Palestine know that not all Canadians are going along with the narrative. We are not supporting Hamas. We are supporting the Palestinian civilians to not get caught up and be used as an excuse for anybody else's hidden agendas against them. I'm going to say that again. We are not supporting Hamas. Hamas can defend themselves. I don't need to speak on behalf of Hamas. I'm sure they're capably fine of articulating and explaining why they're doing what they're doing. We are supporting and we're defending the Palestinian people. And we're supporting the fact that if this war is against Hamas, then we need to see it against Hamas. Right now, we're seeing it against the Palestinian people. And this is my explanation to that Canadian freedom fighter who believed that the people here in Canada shouldn't care about what's happening back home. And I wanted him to see how hypocritical he was in his statement. When they benefit from the Muslims, they benefit from us. They benefit, when I say us, people of color, that when Justin Trudeau called them racist, they love the fact that they could say, look, we have people of African descent. And then they call the other ones, we have blacks, we have sheiks, we have Muslims. And you say, like, they love it when they can use us to say, we're not what you say we are. And then when something comes up to show that they're not, they actually come out to show that they are racist. You are racist. When you decide that one race deserves a different treatment than another race, that is racism. They're good when it serves your purpose. And when they're requiring you to stand with them shoulder to shoulder against crimes against humanity for their people, you're just like, why? You're over here. It's not bothering you. Who gives it? What do you care? See, that's the difference between the energy of the people of the land, the indigenous people, and the foreigners. There's no connection. There's no heart, right? There's no connection to back home. But guaranteed, actually, no. I take that back. Guaranteed, if he has connection to his roots, I mean still active connection, not just, oh, I heard I was born somewhere else, but I have no connection to those people, to that land. It's all about me and Canada and my life and my wife and my children here in Canada, and we're building an empire here. If he has roots back home, wherever his back home is with his lineage, and there is an attack on his family is calling him and telling him that we're being removed from our home because the people that we allowed into our land says, by the way, it's theirs because of historical, biblical, spiritual context from their Bible or their scriptures says that this is actually theirs. They don't have any deed to the land, no prop. They're just saying because it's written down in their scripture book, we need to get out. Mr. Sean, I'm sure, wouldn't say, oh, well, just get out. It's not my problem. I'm sure Sean wouldn't tell his people back home that. Especially if Sean was willed, if he was in the will to get that piece of property and he was banking and he was hoping that that's going to be in his family. And then he heard that, no, it's out of the family as of right now because of a law that says that it goes to the people who says this is their land from their spiritual context. I don't think Sean will be just like, okay, well, it was good while it lasted, just hand it over. I also won't believe that Sean's reaction, if he had connection to his back homeland, his people, he had an emotional, relational, strong connection with his people back home, and he heard that they've been bombed, they've been raided because the government of his land attacked another government, and that government now is just attacking all the civilians, and he heard his family got massacred or his family got, I don't think Sean be like, well, it's not my problem, I'm in Canada, you know. I'm not gonna ask for any, I'm not gonna go to Council General, I'm not gonna bring it to light, I'm not gonna, no. And you know what, everybody to their own, you know. I'm over here, I'm good. Yeah. When people tell me about PPC and Maxime Bernier, I've already seen enough that showed me the true colors of Maxime and the true colors of many Christian movements and Christian politicians. It's about them, and it's about who they deemed as worthy. It's about who know they have their nose up in the sky, or they believe they're better than people. They believe their religion is the supreme. They believe that their class is the supreme. They believe that their social status is supreme. They just, and they tolerate other people. They whatever, you know, but they're not. Don't think that they're feeling your pain. Don't for one think that they're no. They really do believe that Canada is theirs, and like the indigenous is like the Palestinians. Like we recognize it's yours. Actually, no, even worse, because at least here we do land recognition, and we tell them, you know, we recognize we're on your land, but we ain't leaving. We're not giving you anything. You're not benefiting from it. We're not. We're just giving you a feel good. Yeah, we know we're on your land. We recognize this is your land. We recognize and that's all you're gonna get from us. The hypocrisy in that alone is speechless. So there's just this pattern of welcoming settlers onto your land, into your continent, into your nation, in your country, and bringing them in, showing them the ropes, teaching them the do's and the don'ts, helping them adjust, and then they take over. And then they want to change the laws, change the lands, change the structures. Then they come in, dominate, they put themselves in all the places, and then they now change the rules, and then they now say, oh, by the way, you know what? We're going to give you now, listen to the language, we're going to give you your own space. And yet still, Africa, the Americas, and those in Europe and in the Middle East and in Australia, the indigenous in all those, we still have a smile on our face. We still say, let's just get along, let's live together. We see that they're paranoid because they know the history of what they've done to our people. They do deserve retaliation. They're expecting revenge. That's why they're living paranoid. And we're like, no, we're good. Just leave us alone. Let's be equal. Let's play fair. And just stop. And they still just don't know how to stop. They still don't know how to stop. And yet still they're the ones not trusting you. Mind you, you and even I have many reasons not to trust them. But we don't operate like that. But they're going around with the trust issues. Imagine that. They're the ones going around with the trust issues. Should we trust her? Should we trust? They're the one going on with the trust issues. They feel entitled not to trust us. Yeah, maybe there's something called conscience, and right? You've done nothing but be yourself, show up, be authentic, and they think there's something there. There's something disingenuous. There's something, maybe because that's how you live life. Maybe that's how you operate, and you're projecting onto others. But there's many people who know that's who we are. Just work with it. Just work with us. We're good. But they live in a state of paranoia, and that's on them. That's not on us. This is Lady O. Stay in action, faith, and possibility. Walk in and protect your light. Your purpose will find you. Say what you mean and live like you mean what you say. I'm going to end it off with the song that we started off, titled Heaven by Lumenberg. Peace.